What's happening in San Diego? Great Thursday morning to you. Hope you are having a wonderful week. We are. It's our Thursday edition of Annie and Elsten, your midday hang on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Welcome to it. We're all together in our Odyssey studios. Annie Heilbrunn is here. I'm Craig Elsten, joined by Braden Soprenet, as always, looking out over sunny yet brisk Murphy Canyon, ready to roll till 2 o'clock, live local San Diego Sports Talk Radio here for you. What's going on, Annie?
Hello. Good morning, everyone. 2 days to go here. So excited to be with everyone.
Not counting the hours or minutes, are you?
No, I'm not. I'd come in the next 2 weeks if we were doing shows.
Yeah.
But this is what it is. And, look, it's nice for everyone to get some time to recharge. But we'll miss everyone who's listening, and then we'll come back raring to go in January.
I don't know if I'd come in the next 2 weeks if we had shows. But I appreciate that. I appreciate the...
Probably not a whole lot to discuss at this point.
Oh, my golly. Well, at least we get like the playoff games and such coming up down the road. This has been, I think, one of the least newsworthy weeks, maybe the least newsworthy week of 2024 in sports.
Yeah.
It's just been a complete just dry zone in terms, nothing's going on in baseball, NBA, the one game, everything's been shut down. Football's, well, we got a game today, So we've nonetheless, proving the concept, we have assembled a show that should be entertaining. It's chock full of guests, which I think is right on a day like this. And it should speed you right along to 2 o'clock with Gwen and Chris before you know it. Here's how we got things lined up for you today. A little bit later in the hour, Braden's mini football segment. We'll get ready for not only over the course of the hour what's going to happen tonight, Broncos Chargers, right? Some NFL stories, one of which is just hilarious.
Hilarious.
Just billionaires thinking that they're smarter than football people. And it works out so well for us on the entertainment side. We'll talk about that. Coming up at 11, our next to last edition of Best of Padres. This is what I will call the Merrill episode of Best of Padres. Do you remember that? Remember that time when Jackson Merrill basically just carried the team for 2 weeks, just hitting game-tying homers at the ends of games?
Yes.
Just every game. It felt like it was every game.
He was on a roll.
We've got 3 of those games for you from the month of August today in Best of Padres, including one which was truly my favorite game of the entire year. My number one favorite game, if I had a ranking, well, apparently I do, this would be number one. I didn't rank really beyond number one too far, but number one would be the one that we will bring you at 11 o'clock today. At 11:35, AJ Cassavell will be here. Can't wait to talk to Cass, get his thoughts on what's going on during this quiet period for the Padres, his thoughts back on the winter meetings, and so on and so forth. We will chat with AJ coming up at 11:35. 12 o'clock, we'll have the Sports Fix. We'll get you all caught up to date on everything going on. Mark Neville returns. Get us up to date on the Holiday Bowl. I mean, gosh, Washington State will be there.
Yeah, the Union Tribune had an article this morning about it, and Mark's talked to them as well. So we'll hear it from his mouth, but they're full steam ahead, going to move forward. They have contingency plans in place, it sounds like. So,
yeah, just, once again, an example of what the transfer portal and NIL are doing to college football. They are taking bowl games and just completely transforming them as players depart from program to program in between the regular season and the bowl season.
I thought it was so interesting that the Army-Navy game got just tremendous ratings. I mean, like the top ratings, like beat the NHL playoffs, it beat NBA games, it beat, so many. And they were talking about how just two good teams and a good rivalry still gets people to watch, and I wonder if that's just a little bit more what they need. I mean, that's not the bowl games for sure, but just the idea of like rivalries, how are you going to have those anymore with people transferring out? And they're just not really being those kinds of school. I mean, they'll exist for sure, but so many players and coaches seems like transferring out every year will just be different.
Yeah. Well, we've seen it. And as Mark said in the paper, we saw it even last year when Caleb Williams shut her down going into the Holiday Bowl, and USC found a new star, and so on and so forth. And a new star is born every day.
Yeah.
But we'll talk to Mark, and we'll chat about it with what's going on. That'll be a little bit later at 12:20. Today's silly game is Fast Money. Only time we play Fast Money this week. I'm pretty sure. I remember you saying, Braden, you have a Christmas edition.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, actually, yeah. The Christmas edition was the biggest portion of the of the holiday section of the Fast Money questions.
There you go. There you go. So we'll play Fast Money Holiday Edition at 12:40 and try to qualify somebody to go to Las Vegas and head to the March Madness Sportsbook and everything else at Westgate, Las Vegas. That'll be at 12:40. Coming up in real time in the 11 a.m. hour, MLS will release the 2025 schedule in total. So for the first time, we'll know beyond the first two games for SDFC. All we've known is that they're going to start at Galaxy, and then their first home game is March 1st against St. Louis. But what's to follow, right? So we'll get that news during the program, and then at 1 o'clock, Marcelo Balboa, former U.S. men's national team star, Apple TV Plus MLS analyst, he'll come along and he'll tell us what he thinks. And we'll kind of throw an MLS 101 at him. Is basically what we'll do.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, it's great to have him on. It's now MLS with Apple. Is it in its third year, or second year?
This was the second full year.
Second full year, and so now obviously with SDFC coming, and fans next year are going to have to kind of also look into. They're probably going to see him and the rest of the broadcasters who are doing these games. So it'll be good to get a little introduction there.
Well, we'll be incentivized all. Mm-hmm. Now, as much as you want to, and even as a soccer fan like myself, and I bought the package this year, it's a new thing to train yourself. Oh, there might be soccer on. I'm going to go look for Apple. Yeah. I'm going to go look for this match. And like, if you go there, the interface is nice. The broadcasts are really nice, but you got to go find it.
Right. You got to remember where it is and get into that app.
Yeah, I mean, and when you open it, it might be like shrinking is on, or
exactly,
something else, and then you have to kind of surf to get there. But we'll talk to Marcelo Balboa about specifically SDFC schedule, but then we'll throw some MLS 101 on him because, why not? Why not? Why don't we all continue to try and get revved up? And we'll wrap up the show with Ask Us Anything. So nice show, good show. Lots of fun stuff that are lined up today. In terms of where to start on this one, I would love it, Braden, if you would better explain to the audience and to the hosts what's going on, because there was a major ruling, and I read the story on Front Office Sports. I think I'm a little bit up to date, but basically there's been a major court ruling today that is going to open up the door for a lot of 20-year-old freshmen down the road.
Yeah, so Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, I don't even know where he's at anymore. I think he's still at Vanderbilt. I think that's where he decided to file the court case or whatever, but he was out of eligibility, and he made the claim that since he was unable to make NIL money in junior college, that he shouldn't be limited to only 2 years of eligibility at a four-year university where he is able to make NIL money. That's kind of like the brief Spark Notes, Cliff Notes of what the lawsuit was. The judge ruled that in favor of Diego Pavia that he has extra eligibility because it's limiting his opportunity to make NIL money, funds, whatever, by limiting how many years of eligibility he has past junior college. So before, if you went to junior college, that your clock would start, and that would count towards your college eligibility to play sports. And with this ruling now, they're basically saying that your junior college years that you play, ball in junior college does not count towards your 4-year eligibility when you get to the D1 or part of the NCAA jurisdiction. So that opens up a big can of worms for a lot of people that are involved with this, or some junior college players, that all of a sudden, you could be a 20-year-old getting 4 fresh years and going to junior college. You could even redshirt that first year, and you're going to start playing college sports at 21 and then move your way forward. So obviously really big. I think some people say it's not great for junior college. I think it might be a lot better. I think you're going to see a lot more potential for kids to go the junior college route. I think it's awful for high school kids. It's already difficult to get recruited right now because of the transfer portal and because of the COVID year that a lot of these players have had. And, if you're only going to be there for a year and then everybody leaves, all these programs are understanding that now. Why would I waste my time recruiting a high school kid unless he's a top echelon kid when I can go get somebody that's already played a year in college football, right, or college basketball? So for high school kids, you're not going to be getting the offers as you used to, except for those guys are those 5-star freak athletes that are going to the NFL anyway. It might be a lot of junior college routes, and then maybe it is better to go to junior college than it is to go to a 4-year out of high school, right? It's probably a lot better to play at age 20 for 4 years than it is to start at your clock at age 18. So, a lot of cans of worms being opened here. Pandora's box has been unleashed, and I'm interested to see who's the next one to sue the NCAA and say, look, why do I only get 4 years to make as much money in NIL as possible? I'm not going pro, but I'm good enough to make money in college. Is Cam Rising in a sue to say that he deserves to play longer because he can make money at Utah for God knows how long, right? So,
hey, if I'm still working toward my degree,
right?
Why can't I stay in university if I'm a 7th-year senior?
Right.
Because I've only taken 4 classes a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think you could make a fairly logical argument in court in that direction, Mr. Soprenet, which is going to lead, Annie, to, I think, a very new and fascinating question, which is you can be asking a 19-year-old, when did you first decide to become a professional college football player?
That's right.
Because really, when I hear this, okay, take away the superstar players, as Braden was talking about, the guys who are can't missers, right? They're going to come in as 18-year-old freshmen. They're going to get NIL deals as freshmen. If they want to leave, they're going to leave. If they're going to transfer, they're going to transfer. But those guys are going to get their bag no matter what. But if you're one of those players who's good enough to maybe be really good at college football, but you haven't grown into your body yet, maybe you got under-recruited, why wouldn't you go to a community college, be a professional college football player, work on improving your tape, improving your skills, and then you've got 4 years to potentially cash in on it from age 21 to 25, facing some people 2 years younger than you. That could be a physical advantage. I mean, think about BYU. That should be the school that's the most upset by this ruling. Is BYU.
Exactly. Everybody can play by our rules now. This is unfair.
Yeah, it's like everyone gets to go on a mission now. But it's a football mission.
No, it makes so much sense. I mean, they've opened a can of worms for sure. And I saw that this isn't the judge's decision is not a final ruling, but it prevents the NCAA from keeping Pavia out of college football until the case is resolved. And you got to figure it's probably moving that direction, right? So until you open up that Pandora's box, exactly. If you're another student, you're going to try to get in on this and try to work this to your advantage, as you should, while there is that gray area.
There's a lot of things with this. I mean, obviously with NIL. I mean, NIL was supposed to be like Livy Dunn. She's supposed to be NIL. She's a superstar, right? She's popular on social media. She can endorse products and people will buy them. She has that endorsement, level of worth, right? Where most college athletes don't have any. In reality, they don't. If you take Miles Byrd at San Diego State, right? One of the best players at San Diego State. And he goes and he endorses Bob Stahl. Are you going, oh, well, if Miles Byrd likes Bob Stahl Chevrolet, I'm going to go buy a Chevy from them. It's not the same, right? Livy Dunn's got that pizzazz with all the other stuff, and it's more than just cars, right? She can sell a lot of products that feminine care products and all this other stuff, right? So that makes sense. It's blatantly obvious that this is all just pay to play, which is you're basically a professional, thing anyway. But the more you compare college athletics to professional sports, the more you realize how stupid it is that they haven't had a collective bargaining agreement yet, and how it's going to be coming up very, very quickly. Yes. It is the only professional league that doesn't have a draft.
Yeah.
The only professional league that doesn't have a
Right.
draft. I mean, it is what it is. They're professional leagues now.
NWSL, Progressive, let's throw them out there.
Yeah.
Hang on, there's one.
Yeah, they don't have a draft. You can sign wherever you want for the highest bid. They're the only ones that don't have, contract lengths. It's a 1-year deal every single year where you just become a free agent, right? It's the only league that has free agency in the middle of the postseason, or where you can elect for free agency in the middle of the season if you just don't like being on the team you're on.
Let me ask you a question, and I honestly don't know the answer to this. I think I do, but I don't. Let's say that USC finds the number one quarterback in the country.
All right.
Right? They've identified him, they've recruited him, and they have offered him, thanks to the largesse of, name your billionaire, right? Some billionaire has stepped forward.
Steve Cohen loves SC.
Sure,
Let's just say that.
Who knew?
Yeah,
right?
oh, wow.
Who knew?
He likes to just give his money away.
Turns out Steve Cohen actually went to USC, even though he didn't, right?
Yes.
Right.
So,
all hypotheticals.
So
Bob Cohen, his brother.
Yeah, good old Bob says, I am going to open the checkbook. We're going to sign the highest NIL deal ever to bring this kid in. And we sit down in the USC office, and now it's not just the head coach anymore, right? That's sitting down in this meeting.
Right.
And you say to this kid, Superstar X, we want you to be USC's quarterback, but we're going to give you the best deal ever. Here's the thing. You're going to commit to 3 years minimum being on campus at USC. Absolute minimum. 3 years service to the USC football program. At the end of that time, you can enter the transfer portal, but you are going to sign away your transfer portal rights for your freshman and sophomore seasons, and those are going to be commitments to USC because we're making this commitment to you. Why is that illegal?
I don't think it is. I don't know if it is or not. I mean, there's no rules. That's the thing. There's no rules. So they theoretically, and I've been told that might be coming soon anyway, to try to get a guarantee that some of these kids will stay instead of investing a lot of money in them just for them to leave. But it's inevitable that with no rules, right? And we talked about this a while ago with private equity firms wanting to get involved and all of these, really the Steve Cohens of the world that don't have enough to buy a professional franchise, but they do have enough to potentially buy a college football team, being able to run it like a professional football team, and be the owner of the football team and everything like that. But there's nothing really stopping a Steve Cohen type who just really loves his university from buying the best 85 players he possibly can and spending like $200 million on a roster. I mean, they're saying I've seen like a lot of legit people on social media going like, in the SEC, in order to have like a top echelon SEC team in the near future, your payroll could be $200 million. We're talking about the Padres not being able to spend $169 million on a payroll for a year, and you're going to have SEC schools spending $200 million. The salary cap for the NFL is like $250 right now, right? So it's like, and that leads to this too. It's and what a lot of people aren't talking about. There are a lot of college football and basketball players that are making more in college than they would in the pros. We briefly talked about that, but
no, we have though. Yeah,
every starting SEC quarterback currently makes more money than Brock Purdy this year. That's
crazy.
And if they're not good
crazy.
enough to make the NFL, or even if they're good enough to like, if they're
sorry, Brock,
right? Like there's not like there's
like,
not a bunch of
college?
right. So like if you're an SEC quarterback, right? Let's say Jackson Dart's not going to be a first round draft pick, and Jackson Dart's getting a couple million right now to play at Ole Miss. Why is it? And he's doing a good job. Why is it? Why are you allowed to prevent him from making that kind of money where he has to give it up to get a real job because he can't move on to the next level because he might not be good enough for the next level? And I'm just using him as an example. He's not one of those, best of the best quarterbacks that we see, right? The Shedeur Sanders of the world that everybody wants in the first round of the NFL draft. But why would I go to the next level and make league minimum being a 4th, 5th, 6th round draft pick when I can go to an SEC school and make millions of dollars?
Let's pick this up on the other side of the break. 20-minute opening segment for you to get your appetite wet here on Annie and Elsten. Talking more football through the course of this hour. Best of Padres at the top of the hour on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:25 on the Fan. Welcome back, everybody. Annie and Elsten here with you. Just talking about the ever-changing landscape of college football. Of course, college football playoffs. Speaking of the changing landscape of college football, tomorrow it's for real. Tomorrow you get the first set of first-round games.
Yeah.
Catholics for cigarettes.
Yes. Indiana, Notre Dame. That's a great
Signettis.
one. The Signettis against the Catholics coming up tomorrow. Plenty of action. We'll get into that. Maybe we'll preview all the games tomorrow. I think Braden's going to pick Tennessee
Yeah.
to beat
Vols.
Ohio State.
Go Vols.
I think that's a
Do you have
fair
a show on
guess.
Sunday, Braden?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm done until January 5th.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you're actually leading the
Right.
parade. You're going to lead us in.
That's
You
right.
know, there are a lot of games for college, but so I wasn't sure. But yeah.
Yes. Brand new time on Sundays starting in the new year. We're
All
9
right.
to 11.
9 to 11.
We have a old show that is now a new show coming in the new year.
Wait, can you speak on this?
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
An
that's
old show
coming
that is now
before
new.
my show.
Okay.
It's,
Okay.
It's been on for a very, very long time. It was on it's a weekend show. I'm sure Craig knows the guys. but-
The Bleacher Bums.
Bleacher Bums.
Yep.
I don't even honestly know that reference. I just hear so many people in San Diego talk about it, but I really honestly don't know what the reference is. So
Oh, boy.
I'm just,
That was at
in a
the
spicy
old
mood.
barn where you and I used to
Yeah,
be,
well.
Annie. That was a real special time.
Okay.
Very short.
Okay.
Very
Short-lived?
short special
Yeah.
time in San Diego
I think
sports
I
talk
think it might
history.
have been like before my short stint there. You know?
Yeah, that was one man's bright idea right there, and maybe a sign of leadership that idea found its way all the way up.
Well, nothing against him. I honestly, I don't even think I ever heard him. So, yeah, but I always hear.
You can
the,
have plenty against them. It's
Okay,
not.
well.
It's not okay. It's not fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a problem at all. You can have a problem.
That is not
with
the
the
show
Bleacher
that Braden
Bums.
is referring to.
No, it is not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even
No.
know what that show is. So
There was Braden. There was a time that drive time over at the now defunct station that used to be the number one station. Literally took two fans off the phone lines and gave them drive time.
Oh my God.
Two of the more, let's just say, annoying, caustic fans that would call every show, And why don't you guys do it? Why don't you guys take over?
I'm sure that worked for
Let's just crowdsource drive time and see how that goes. It went infamously.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
new
Anyway,
time slot,
sorry.
9 to
Anyway,
11
so,
on
it's not the
Sunday
Bleacher Bums.
mornings,
It's not
which
the
is
Bleacher
good. I get an extra hour of sleep on Sundays.
Yes.
Yeah, that's sick.
Which is great. But
That's sick.
anyway,
Okay. Well, I mean, really what we were talking about with college football is creating,
we can't make it a week without having some insane thing happen.
the unintended
Yeah.
consequences. Like each thing that happens has some logic attached to it. Diego Pavia has some logic attached to it. Here's a guy who spent 2 years at community college. He goes into Division I. He was at New Mexico Military Institute. Then he went to New Mexico State, and he was good. So then, just like Braden was talking about, when somebody recruits you and gives you a scholarship now, and you're good, that's kind of bad for the university.
Yeah.
Because that means you're either getting a raise or you're leaving.
I mean, it's really hard. It's going to be really a changing landscape. Like you guys said, we there's something new happening every single week. But even I can speak to, like, we're going to award some college athletes through the Sports Association, and they're all, a lot of them, not they're all gone, but a lot of them are gone. And one of the AD's assistants said to me, it's going to be really hard to do this going forward because of the transfer portal. They are done in October, and they're out of there, you know? And so, that's just a small sliver of what is kind of like the new reality where, we saw it with SDSU football. We saw it with Aztecs football and, the changing of minds, and you've got to account for that. Obviously, with Washington State, that's a huge one right there. And more than or nearly 24 players going with that coach, leaving with that coach when that coach did or before. So the quarterback's gone. You're looking at rebuilding entirely new programs. I think Aztecs women's basketball, I was reading today, and I know that Chris and Tony had them on in Scraby, but they had no transfers out of their system, and I think that that's gonna be so rare that you don't have that happen. It's really gonna be probably the other side of that's really gonna be the norm.
Says a lot for a lot of programs that didn't have a lot of guys leave, right? Like, I mean, TCU's up there with like only 7 transfers out.
Yeah.
I mean, they went 8-4, and it wasn't even that. It was an okay season, but a lot of them were coming back next year. Someone went in the portal and came back almost immediately. So, you really got to try to emphasize culture. But, the thing is, and again, we can keep comparing this thing to professional sports, which really shows how ridiculous this is. But if you are like that, it really just enlightens how dumb it is. And I've seen this particular take on social media, and I totally agree. But there's really no reward for any of the other schools, especially the smaller ones, to go out there and go find a 3-star player and develop him, right? Because he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
If you think about it from the perspective of like for Major League Baseball is the biggest thing you can compare this thing to because there's no salary cap. But at least with the teams that are at the bottom of the salary cap or at the bottom of the salary pool, they could go find like young, talented players and give them an opportunity to play, and they could play above what they're worth, and that's a way that they could go out there and compete, right? Like teams like the A's at the bottom.
Way. Right.
Right. That's the way you can do it. But in college athletics, I would say San Diego State's probably near the bottom, right, of this big NIL payout, right? They're trying to find kids. But if San Diego State takes chances on some local talent that didn't get offers out of high school, right, and they play really well, they're gone. If you take the Niners, for example, they drafted Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. They gave him a chance, and they got rewarded because now they don't have to spend all this money on Brock Purdy to be their quarterback. They can spend it elsewhere, right? Same thing with like Puka Nacua. These guys are paid less in a 4-year deal than their market value, and they can't hit free agency until that deal is done, and they can be able to, get a reward for going out there and really finding some talent. But you can't do that at the college level because if you find this guy, you got a year of him, and then he's gone, you got to go find the next one.
Yeah, that's why the question I asked you is one I really believe. I mean, there's 2 things that spring to mind, and we got to go to break again. But the first is, why wouldn't universities start to make multi-year NIL offers, deals that say specifically you are signing away the transfer portal in this season and in that season, and in exchange, here's a 3-year NIL commitment. Now, listen, I'm bringing you on campus. You're a 17-year-old kid. We think you're going to be a great college football player. What if you break your leg in year 1? What if you turn out not to be quite as good as we thought? It's still a 3-year commitment. It's still a 3-year commitment to you. This is a professional contract. It's a professional contract. And what do you mean, Adam, in the chat, the universities aren't getting involved? They literally were just given the opportunity to directly pay the players. Yeah. They're going to directly
They've been
pay the players.
Involved for a while now.
They absolutely are involved.
And I mean, now you're essentially asking the public every day to help keep your players, because
pay
you
our
know
payroll.
that, right? Well, or just have them, stay competitive with the rest of the league, because this is the reality that you're in now. Like, they're going to leave, if they don't get some kind of deal that's worth them staying.
Yeah, and then the ultimate moment will be when a player, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm not saying it's not.
At this point, everything's on the table.
Yeah. A player turns down the draft for a more lucrative NIL deal to stay in college and says, hey, you know what? No, I'm staying for my senior year because I'm going to get $4.5 million from, Kentucky my senior year. Whereas so far, what my agent is telling me is I'm going to get picked in the 4th round of the NFL draft, and I'm not going to make a bonus that's nearly that high.
Yeah, I think if you want to be in the NFL, that's still your goal. You're still going to try to be in the NFL, but you're going to prolong it. You're going to find a different way in. You're not going to need the draft. I mean, essentially, as long as you, bet on yourself in some ways and you feel like that money is more than you would make in the draft, you get an agent, and they're going to all have agents anyways with all this NIL money and whatever. And, you I guess you bet on yourself. You kind of work your way in somehow, some other way, right? Or you go to a different year. But it's just, I think if your goal is still the NFL, but for some of these athletes, I think they might look at it and be like, why am I even going to try the NFL? Like if you're one of those fringe guys and you can make a decent amount of money in college, you might say to yourself, why even go? Like,
why go to the NFL,
Right.
get drafted by a team you don't want to be a part of, and get stuck there for 4 years when in college you could pick whatever team you want to be on every single year? There's
Right.
never been a pro sports league that allows the player to pick whatever team they want to play for every single year with no restrictions. Think about that. Think about it like the guys in the pros just get to pick whatever team they want every single year.
Why don't they put like a 2-team limit or something, or 2 transfer portal limit or something?
Because
like,
they said it was unfair and these kids should be able to transfer whenever they want.
I mean, the first question I asked Braden, I have a feeling that if Michigan had signed their quarterback to the $12 million deal with a 3-year guarantee put into it, and then that kid wanted to transfer after his freshman year, I have a feeling if he sued the NCAA, he might win.
this is your time. While it's the wild, wild west and there aren't actual black and white restrictions and ideas of what you can and can't do, and they're like building the plane as they're flying it. This is your time to sue. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
this is
it
your
is.
time to test everything and try to get your money and try to win your lawsuits, because they're trying to figure it out as they go. I don't know the answer. There's a question in the chat of, if you get the NIL money and you blow your knee out, you don't play anymore, are you still paid? I don't know if the money's guaranteed or not. It probably
it's part
depends
of the
on
deal.
Probably depends on the deal right in the contract.
Yeah, plus you're already paying 30% to your agent, which is, ridiculous too. I heard that. Remember we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, the Colorado State head coach?
Yeah.
You got these agents out there that are just going like, how much money would you pay Craig Elsten if he entered the transfer portal?
Yeah.
Well, we'd give him $100,000. Well, how much would you give him? We'd give him $120,000. And it works all the way around, and then he DMs the kid, hey, Craig, I can get you $200,000 if you enter the transfer portal.
Right.
Kid says yes. They work out a deal. 30% goes to the agent, which is insane, because the Players Association agents in the National Football League get 3%. And all of a sudden, these guys are making a fortune
30%?
off of these kids. Yes. They're getting 20 to 30% of these contracts because these kids don't know any better,
Yeah.
and they're getting hosed.
The other thing is the shiesty part of it, which
Yeah.
is that's assuming the agent is smart but good, like maybe just
Right.
kind of taking advantage of a little loophole in the system, but not necessarily gonna.
And these guys
Take
aren't
you for a
signed with these
run.
agents first. These guys reach out to these kids
That's what I
after they
mean.
find these deals and go like,
Yeah.
trust me.
There's a lot of advantage that you
Yeah.
can get taken for there, and then not only agents but marketing managers and brand managers and all kinds of things. Like if you don't have a good understanding of where your money's going, or like we saw earlier too, if you don't realize that like a handshake deal is not a signed contract, and a signed contract might have
Right.
more in the fine print. Like there's so much that I think that a lot of these young athletes are going to have to be figuring out as they go, and hopefully having a good support group around them to help them.
I do want to mention before we go to break, you were saying about kids deciding to stay. There's kids right now. There's players right now that are of draft age at a group of 5 school, or maybe a school that's not a power school, that would transfer to a power school for more money instead of entering the draft, because they can get an extra $2 million to play in the SEC before they go to the draft.
That's the thing.
That is happening currently.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In which case,
Yeah.
we're going to, after this Pavia ruling, create the 6-year professional college football player that eschews the original, hey, I got to get the grades, I got to get the admissions. No, you don't. You just get, and here's who benefits the absolute most, I think, in the very short term, the last chance use of the country.
Are you going to start having feeder programs for these schools?
Bingo!
Yeah.
Like if you're San Diego State,
100%.
The
San Diego
nobody
State
use?
making a deal with Mesa and Grossmont and Southwestern.
Junior college powerhouses
Yes.
that are developed by kids that understand that if they give their bodies 2 years to develop
Sure.
while they're taking rinky-dinky JUCO classes,
And then still have their full 4 years to earn NIL money and
Bingo.
transfer
Schools
to
have
a
been
school that's
doing
going to
that
take
for
you.
a
Yeah.
long time just to get their academics in place.
Right.
Now they don't have to burn years of eligibility, right?
bingo.
It's the smart way to go.
20-year-old freshman,
When I-
21-year-old
Yeah.
freshman.
When
the
I was
smart
at
way to go.
Arizona, there's a lot of players that just had to get their grades up, or we're going to take a red shirt, and then they instead went to Pima Community College in Tucson, right? I mean, every major university's got some junior college not too far away. You start adding all these football programs to it.
Yeah. And yes, there's been a 6-year college football player in the history of but it's the rarest of things. It's a guy who got a medical red shirt and then
Right.
a
Couple
COVID
of red
exemption and this and that.
Now
this
it's going
is
to be the standard.
Bingo. It's going to be a program. It's going to be literally a plan. This is how you maximize. This is how you retire from your pro college football career at age 25 with a whole lot of money in your wallet, and you're set for life. Let's take a timeout. When we come back from the college sport of football to the professional field, where we've got a big game in the AFC West tonight, as well as the Dumbest Owner of the Year award. I think it's been officially clinched after today. We get to that next on Annie and Elsten here on The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, and Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings. Try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of a kick, check out the new Cajun sauce for a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauce. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go! We go on to the National Football League. Bless you, Braden.
Thank you.
It's Braden's mini football segment. That's what I'm going to call these 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Why did we have to make it mini?
Because there's only one NFL game.
Yeah, there's one game.
Okay.
We talk some college
Makes
football.
sense.
too.
Tomorrow is the full size.
Okay, I understand
Yeah.
now.
I don't know. You almost have to break it in half. Saturday's slate is pretty awesome for football fans. I will be at USD all day, so I will not be participating in the great Saturday slate. We have 2 basketball games on Saturday. Women's basketball, and the men's game's going to be good. USD, UCSD.
Yeah.
But your Saturday slate, have you taken a look at it yet for
No.
college and NFL?
No,
That's great.
Well, we got the playoff games for college.
You do got the playoff games. You also have Texans at Chiefs Saturday at 10 in the morning on NBC. So at 9 in the morning, you have Penn State SMU. At 10 in the morning, you got Texans and Chiefs. Steelers and Ravens will kick off at 1:30 on Saturday. And then your other games, the Vols play at night. I know that. And then what's the middle game is Texas and Clemson. So Saturday at 9 a.m., you got SMU and Penn State. At 1, you got Clemson and Texas. And at 5, you got Tennessee at Ohio State.
Whew.
All starting with a Friday night of Indiana at Notre Dame.
Yes.
Which is all good. So Saturday in order, 9 a.m. SMU at Penn State, 10 a.m. Chiefs at Texans, 1 p.m. Clemson at Texas,
Okay.
1:30 Steelers at Ravens,
Big game.
5 o'clock Tennessee at Ohio State.
Huge.
You
That's
should never
good
leave
slate.
your couch.
Yeah.
If you still have to do your Christmas shopping, it's gonna be a rough day to go shopping.
Yeah.
Or you're just gonna be on your phone. the
Actually, it
whole
might
time.
be an easier day to go shopping. Less people there. If you don't,
The Saturday before Christmas, there's gonna be a ton of people.
Well, that's true. There's going to be a lot of people.
There's
there,
going to be a
no
lot of
matter what.
people at Travis Matthew that has a TV behind it.
I went last night to
I went last
Fashion.
night, too,
Did you?
to
Oh.
UTC.
Well, it wasn't terrible at Fashion, but it wasn't busy.
no,
It
it
was
was-
not terrible. Was it brutal?
It was busier than I thought it would be. I
Yeah.
mean, in this day and age of malls,
Yeah.
it was like, it's not that busy. Like, if you looked at the crowd last night and went 10 years in the past, you'd be like, wow, it's wide open. But, like, nowadays, it's like, it was
Yeah.
still kind of busy. It was hard to park.
It
and
was
stuff.
busy-ish, yeah.
I felt bad.
A lot of last minute shop. A lot of people with, like, a lot of bags,
My my poor mom, she rolled her ankle at the boot camp thing that we do on Saturdays,
Yeah.
like playing frisbee on a pine cone, and kind of like, I don't know, some type of, it's a weird kind of fracture or whatever. So she's got a little like scooter. She was scootering around at the mall.
Oh, man.
Hilarious. It was hilarious. She was like, she'd back up and she would go beep, 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 beep. By the 5th time, I'm like, Mom, you got to stop doing that. People are looking
Stop
at you.
beeping.
People are looking at you. NFL game tonight.
Yeah. Broncos
Craig
Chargers.
Elsten's favorite Chargers taking on the Denver Broncos.
The Renters.
Actually an important game for these teams, isn't
It's
it?
a huge game for both teams. Not in like per se for, I mean, obviously for seeding purposes, it's very important. In terms of like the standings, they still have a cushion. They still have a decent cushion above the Colts, Dolphins, and the Bengals. But, whoever loses this game is going to be, behind the 8 ball a little bit when it comes to making the playoffs. But whoever wins this game is most likely in the playoffs at this point.
Right. And it's, I heard Ben and Woods talking about it too. Like, I want to see the Renters lose because then, sure, they could charger their way out of the playoffs at the end by losing it, especially at Vegas. That would be hilarious. But even if they don't, if they're the 7th seed and they're going to Buffalo,
Yeah.
I mean, good luck to you guys. See what happens.
Yeah, or if Buffalo passes KC, then they're 17, they're going to KC.
Yeah.
And same thing. Good luck to you guys.
Pick your poison.
See what happens. But if they won, then they would potentially build the momentum of winning the next game and the next game, and maybe they move out of one of those really tough matchups in the first round. Because I think if they go to Pittsburgh, they're in trouble too.
Yeah,
if they're
those
the
are
sixth
some
seed.
tough teams all the way around, right?
Yeah. If they want to get up to that 4-5 situation where they could maybe be in a slightly more advantageous situation.
Here's what
Bo
they're
Nix
playing
and the Broncos
for.
have been better, haven't they?
They have. They've been a lot better. Here's what they're playing for. If the Broncos win, they have a 99% chance to make the play. They might. I don't know. I don't think they clinch yet. I think there's a couple things that need to happen officially, but they're 99.99% chance into the postseason. Currently, they have a 92% chance of making the postseason. If the Broncos lose, they're still at 85%. So not as much for the Broncos, aside from the fact it'd be nice to, beat your division rival and make them have to go somewhere bad instead of themselves. As for the Chargers, if they win, they have a 97% chance of making the postseason. Their current chances are 88%, and if they lose, it drops down to 74%. It's still good odds, but the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals are still hanging around.
As we say in poker, give them a sweat. At least give them a sweat.
Yeah.
The good news with the Chargers,
You
they
don't
have
want to run
the
away with it.
tiebreaker of the Bengals,
it's,
right? So
Denver.
That's the big thing. So they'd have to essentially go. They have to lose their next 3 to potentially get. They have to lose their next 3 to get passed by the Bengals. In terms of the Colts and the Dolphins, though, Chargers could theoretically lose this week, beat the Patriots, and if they lose the Raiders, the Colts could catch them. And the Colts have a very easy schedule remaining.
Would the Raiders be a place for Shador?
Sure.
It's possible.
Sure.
And for Dion, I would think.
Why
Why
not?
Why
Be
not?
there with
Why
Tom, good old
not?
Tom. So
They don't exactly have a very strong head coaching situation.
No,
Right.
they don't. Neither does really anybody picking in the first 5.
In fact, I'd say there's a
5
decent
picks.
chance anyone in the top 5 could get that package deal.
Okay.
If they ask for it, they can get it, And if they want Shador, maybe they need to think about it just a little bit. Maybe think about the package deal of a new head coach as well. We do not have enough time to make fun of Woody Johnson. So I will save that for a little bit later in the show. But Woody Johnson is
Hilarious.
LOL.
Hilarious.
LOL. I know you made money doing something, man. That it doesn't mean that you just get to be this dumb and not get made fun of. And it's very rare that we get to make fun of billionaires. But it's always a good time to do it. So, Woody. Oh, Woody. We'll get to you a little bit later in the show. But when we come back, hour number 2 is a baseball-themed hour for you on Annie and Elsten. That should bring back many pleasant memories from the summer that was. We're going to start things off with our penultimate edition of Best of Padres 2024. My favorite game of the whole year is coming up on the other side of this break. Then at the bottom of the hour, AJ Cassavell. We'll chat with Cass from MLB.com.
Yes, looking forward to it.
About all things Padres. So stay right there, baseball fans. Hour number 2 of Annie and Elsten coming to you on a wintry day on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fans, presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com, get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. It's hour number 2 of Annie and Elsten. Welcome back, everybody. Annie Halbin, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprenic coming to you on 97.3 FM radio, firing into your car the old-fashioned way. We are also a streaming service. We're on the Odyssey app. Worldwide streaming, free to use, free to download. AUDACY. Download it. Take advantage. If you're there, leave us a voice message. We can play them later in the show. Press the little button. Bing bonk. Record. I think it makes that sound. And then what do you know? We'll have you on Ask Us Anything. Look forward to doing that. We are also a podcast. Thanks to everybody listening to us sometime later in the day or tomorrow or over the weekend or whenever you are, wherever you catch your podcasts. While you're there, if you have a rating service and you can give us 5 stars, give us a little nice review, that would be amazing on your part. Last but not least, we are a YouTube program. We are on YouTube right now. Hello, YouTubers. Great to see everybody in the chat. Appreciate you. Have you hit the thumbs up button yet? Have you shared the show? Have you liked? Have you subscribed? Have you done all the things that you can do as the consumer? Please do those things. We thank you. We thank you for being there.
We thank you very much.
Speaking of consumerism, what's the status report? How are we doing? You said you went to the mall.
Yes, and I went to the mall yesterday to Fashion Valley around between 6 and 7. I felt like that was going to be a safer time. Well, you know how the exit always is over there?
Yes.
But, that one's brutal. So
bad.
Yeah, I went around instead and came in the other side, because that exit, I was not going to be in that. But that, you know what exit I'm talking about,
yes,
right?
I do.
Everybody?
Absolutely.
It's like that one.
Friars?
No, it's it backs all the way up on 8.
It's horrible.
Yeah. It's so bad. But anyways, I did all right. I feel like I got the last... maybe I have 10% more. I have 2 gifts I need to get, but I know where I'm going to get them, and it's not going to be the mall. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. But you know how you're worried that you forgot someone,
Yes.
or have that fear, or that there's something I'm not thinking of.
Yes.
And I'm still waiting on some stuff to be delivered. So let's hope that doesn't get stalled up.
Well, me too.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
My stuff for you guys is still in the mail, so I don't know if
We'll get it after the first of the
it's
year.
on a
hopefully.
1 day.
Yeah.
It's on a 1 day. If it's there today, you'll get it
It's
tomorrow.
always that.
Otherwise, it's a January 6th gift.
Sounds good.
Hey, I got you a gift. It's held up in the mail. It hasn't arrived yet. I'll give it to you after the first of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
I've gotten your thing is shipping. I've gotten those emails, but I mean, it's not here yet. But
it wasn't too bad at fashion, but I can imagine it's going to start just getting more and more nuts.
I know.
So
Driving on the road's been frustrating.
Yes.
So aside from that, yeah. Got all my stuff done yesterday,
solid.
which was great.
and I needed to. My sister's out. Put her to work a little.
Good.
I put her to work. Getting
Good
a
on
few
you.
things I need, but
I've got
feel kind of bad about that.
I've got 2 things I need to get from Mitzi, but I feel like here's the problem. The world's crashing in on me because yesterday was just scratch it off. It was one of those days that just didn't exist because we had the show.
Yeah.
And then after the show, it felt like 2023. I had a 2 podcast day.
Yeah.
I podcasted with our buddies over at San Diego Punto Football. They have a offshoot show with Cesar Hernandez and Drew Steck where they do movies, and they had invited me months ago to be on. And it just so happened to fall on this day. And we reviewed Victory, if anyone ever watched 1981's Victory with Sylvester Stallone and Michael Caine and Max von Sydow, and a fictional thing where they played a soccer match in World War II between prison campers and Nazis. And
Oh wow!
it was a good movie. It was a good movie. It was fun. Very, very good movie. But anyways, I did that, and then we had James's final Advent program at St. Martin's as an 8th grader. as a
Christmas pageant.
Yes,
that they do at the
sir.
Catholic
Yes.
schools. Yeah.
9 years of going into the
Yes.
church and
Yes.
hearing the songs, and every
Does it ever change from year to year?
No,
or-
not really. I mean, still,
They sometimes
Joseph
mix
and
up
Mary
the
turn
songs,
up.
but, yeah.
Still, they get turned back at the end. Still, they wind up in the
plot is the
manger.
same.
The kings show up.
Right.
Interesting.
The
it all-
characters are different every year in terms of the actors who play them.
Correct. But so yeah, this
kind of know what's coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it's funny because I'm in full honesty, many of those 9 years, it was kind of like, oh boy, here we go again. Like, listen to everyone's kids sing and, same songs. And, our kid comes up, okay, take the pictures, But when it's the 8th grade year, you have this jarring moment because you see the kindergartners.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then you see these kids. And I swear to you, Annie, there are at least 3, if not 4 kids in his 8th grade class taller than me, taller than most of the parents of the 8th graders. Like, there's a couple that are like 6'2", 6'3", at 8th grade.
And you probably remember that he was a kindergartner just
Bingo.
what feels like a second ago.
And that's it. So there's like this rite of passage kind of finality to that, and I don't think they do Christmas pageants in high school, even at Catholic school.
See, that's why,
done.
you want to savor. You wanted to kind of savor that last one.
Yeah, that was only
sure.
a K through 9 or K through 8 thing for the Catholic schools.
Yeah.
You get to high school, they have if you're in the drama group or something like that,
sure,
do it. But aside from that,
yeah, but
the
no, they don't.
bagpipes.
But not everyone turns up, and it's not adorable when
that's
the
why
9th graders
Helix
sing.
There
Christmas
are kindergartners
bagpipes
that come in.
No, every year it's adorable when the preschoolers and the kindergartners sing. It's absolutely adorable, and then it's kind of whatevs for the middle school, and like the 8th graders are pretty much over it usually.
Yes.
But they all did fine, and shout out to James and his class. Did a good job with the narration and all of the pageant stuff. But then when I got home, Media Melanie and I did our top 10 TV shows of the year podcast for her channel. I saw her post earlier. It's going to be up at like 12 o'clock today or thereabouts.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but so the whole day was gone for me for that. Tonight I've got the concert I'm going to. I'm going to see The Far Side.
Oh, yeah, we can hear about that tomorrow.
And Diggable Planets at and it really is. It's where the off-track wagering used to be at the fairgrounds.
yes, I was there the other day.
Bingo.
I wasn't at the was it the Sound, right?
Yeah, the Sound.
I was at Pelly's Golf the other day. The mini golf next door, and I was
that's
like,
cool.
"Oh, that's the Sound." I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, actually, it looks kind of cool. Like, it looks like a nice little concert venue."
It looks pretty cool inside, so I'm interested to hear what it is like inside and how it goes. And
well, I can't wait, except that
Here comes the butt.
Friday, tomorrow, when the show's over, I have to go straight up to Oceanside because there's a soccer's match at 7, and there's no way I could go home and do something and do this or that and then go up there. I'd never even make it, So so tomorrow's out too. Today's kind of out.
Yeah.
Yesterday was out. Saturday morning is Elsten Family Christmas. Yeah.
You're host.
So I'm host.
so you don't do it on Christmas?
Well, here's what happens. And thank you. This is, I got my own thoughts, whatever. But we do one that's just us at the house. Then we're going to go up, and then it's all the family Christmases.
Oh, so you'll do your household one on Sunday.
Saturday
Oh,
morning.
that's cool.
That's the Elsten family. That's just us.
Yeah.
Just me, Mitzi, and James and the dog.
Open all the presents. So you got to be done by then.
That's what I've got to be done. No, Annie, I've got to be done this afternoon.
He needed to be done
yesterday.
Before the sun goes down.
You should have gone shopping with us yesterday.
Yeah,
That's right.
right. I know, but the day was gone. So, and it was this weird thing. It was like, well, it's the last week of work. Let's get everyone in. Let's get it all done now.
Yeah.
But so now, like, it's just hit me. It's like, no, I got to wrap presents when I get home. Maybe pick up those 2 things that I wanted to get on the way home, and then wrap everything. And then, just good luck getting the stocking stuffers. I don't know when I'm going to get the dang stocking stuffers. I feel like that's maybe on the way home.
Or that's a late night trip.
Yeah.
Right. To something that's open late these days.
Might be on the way home again.
Right.
Might just
Might
be on the
a
way home
lot
again.
of gift cards and socks.
Yeah.
So then we go up to Long Beach, and like on the 24th, we'll be with Mitzi's family, and on the 25th, we'll be with my dad and my aunt. And so now that's why I have the presents that I wind up giving myself is for
Yes. Makes
the
sense.
25th. Because on Saturday, Mitzi will give me whatever she wants to give me. That's great. Or James, cool, awesome. But then what always happens now that we are adults is that we have this weird Christmas day where Dad has his gifts and like Aunt Kathy might have her gifts, but like we've already given our gifts. So it's
Yeah.
like usually like you bring like one thing or they're going to give you one thing. And then there's this whole awkward, well, let's all open our gifts together.
Right.
Like, no, go ahead. No, go ahead. You've got 10. I've got none. Go ahead. Oh, you should
And
have.
you just sit there and
Right.
watch.
You literally do. Yeah, that's what I like. The last three
worst.
Christmases, I just sit there and watch. So I'm like, you know what? All this Black Friday stuff that I bought,
You're going to wrap for yourself?
I'm going to wrap it.
Oh, my God.
And I'm going to open it on the 25th.
You are not going to do. That's a foul. Foul that.
That's got to be a dad thing.
It's a dad thing.
My
This
dad
is-
did that last year.
This is gonna my
you
dad
gonna
will
wrap
be
it
happier.
yourself?
Who's gonna wrap it for me?
Mitzi or someone?
No chance.
I-
No chance. No
My-
one else is gonna do this for me.
My dad did that like the last couple of years. He just like he doesn't put anything on his list, right? And then he ends up just buying a bunch of stuff for himself. I'm like, we could have got you that.
We could have just. I think it's going to be hilarious though. Like, are you going to make a surprised face when you open
Wow,
it?
look at this one. I should write
I
on
wonder
it.
what
To
this
me
is.
from me.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'll do.
I think my dad literally did that last year. That must be like a dad. Once
That's
you get to like 50,
amazing.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy myself what I want.
Yeah. And
Ben
I'm
then
gonna
I'll
wrap
texted
it
just-
us when you were
myself.
talking about the
Unbelievable.
James's the Advent, and he
Yeah.
says, "Surprise twist: we had a late cancellation, and there is room at the inn for Mary and Joseph."
Right. Plot twist.
That's
The
right.
whole thing changes.
So you're gonna wrap presents for yourself
Uh-huh.
and bring them to this thing.
Yeah. This
And
thing
then-
known as Christmas.
Just
This thing.
yeah, showed in the chat. I always wanted this. How did I know?
How did I know?
Because I looked at it on the website and I went, click, send to me, send to me, send to me. Hey, you know, no one knows what I want better than me.
This is hilarious.
So,
I am tonight putting together. This is my second year doing this. And this will take up my whole night too. And that's why I went shopping yesterday. Mitzi in the chat. He buys what he likes. He doesn't tell me. No, but you wrapping them yourself and
I
then
know.
fake opening them is.
it's not fake opening. I'm going to really open it.
What's worse, him wrapping the gift that he bought for himself by himself, or handing it to his wife to wrap
Yeah,
for
I
him?
think that's worse.
That's
Okay, good
worse.
That's
point,
Dan
good point,
Hurley
good
behavior right there.
Yeah,
Honey,
wash
wrap
my
this.
undies.
Unless
When you're done
unless-
ironing my shirt, please wrap this for me.
Unless
Wash my lucky undies, my lucky boxers.
Unless you can convince James to wrap the gift for you, don't say who it's for. Be like, hey,
Yeah,
look, I
hey,
need
can
some
you wrap
extra
this?
things that need to be wrapped.
He already knows better.
And then if he wrapped it, then you could be like, and then once it's done, it's like, oh, who's it for? I'll take care of that, and then you can write it for yourself.
Yeah, that
That's-
would work
that's a little
just
bit
as
better.
well as when we asked him to take out the recycling. It's this. Yeah, okay.
Why? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
You could say it's for, you could put to Craig from Santa. or
Yeah,
something.
Tyler, I agree with Tyler. CVS is a game changer for last minute stocking stuffers.
Well, that's a good call. I'll probably go there this afternoon.
So I'm putting together tonight, it's like 200 gift bags and they're like huge gift bags for juvenile detention kids.
Oh, wow.
And it takes up like the entire night because there's so much stuff. We're doing it at this this cool venue downtown. I actually haven't been there, but I've heard of it. It's David's Harp, where it's a musical thing for disadvantaged kids and kids.
nice.
Yeah, it's cool, like with studios and everything. But yeah, whole group gets together, and these kids obviously don't get anything at Christmas, and a lot of them don't get any visitors all year long. They don't have any family that comes and visits them, and they're still just kids, So we put together these big gift bags for them and bring them. They have to obviously be vetted, and only certain things can be given to them. But it's pretty cool. So they all wake up with something on Christmas or on the holidays, which is nice.
That's tremendous. And as Mitzi said, you get a little older. It's not like it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, well, I hope I get the thing I really wanted. Like, it's not that big a deal anymore in terms of the actual gifting.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I want this thing. Okay, cool. You get this thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it goes over time. It is.
I
Just,
just
spoiler alert.
want
That's how
Mitzi
it
to
goes
take
over
a-
time.
Please, Mitzi, take video of him opening it and reacting.
All right. My
I
baseball
just
is
wouldn't
in
have, I
hat.
wouldn't have the patience to wrap it for myself. I would be like, I'd be too like, oh, no, just not,
Yeah, well,
But you get your own. Do you pick out your wrapping paper?
Hey, you know what?
Did you get
when
yourself
when
special
when
wrapping
I
paper?
ordered the Black Friday from Baseball List, it came with really cool baseball-y wrapping paper.
That's great. Even better.
Yeah. So
Even
all my
better.
gifts have Santa making diving catches or
But
so on and
does
so forth.
Mitzi get gifts because are she in the same boat as you where she's already opened all her gifts?
Well, that'll happen. We had the same experience. Yeah. Sometimes she'll get stuff from like her school. Like some parents will
she'll
give
bring that there and open
exactly,
it. Okay.
Exactly. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Is it a little bit of kabuki? I mean,
but it gives you presents to open. It's fine. It's
yeah,
fine. Braden said his dad did it too.
It's apparently a thing when you're older.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing when you get it. That's exactly right. That's exactly
From me to me. Merry Christmas. You're the best.
Right.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks,
Could you imagine if I held it up and it was like,
here without you.
World's #1 dad.
That's right.
Merry
Hey, look what I
Christmas.
got.
I'm your #1 fan.
Make the family take a picture of you.
Yes.
Hey guys, thanks so much. Wow. I want to say a special thanks to the person who thought of this. Me. Amazing. Do I write a note a special personalized note on each one?
Do you write a note to Santa?
Yeah.
And ask him for what you're already getting?
Santa baby, did my delivery get there?
Make sure you don't get bait and switch by the Hornet.
Right. How
No, that's
do you
why
know?
you take it in your own hands.
That's why it gets you wrap it
That's
yourself.
why you take it in your own hands. You
Right.
thought you bought a PS5.
You
See
don't
what
end
the
up with a
Charlotte
miserable
Hornets have
jersey
done?
Jersey
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
See what the Charlotte Hornets have done?
Jersey.
It's driven Craig to just buy his own gifts, so he doesn't get a bait and switch.
Oh,
he
wow, you
knows.
shouldn't have. I shouldn't have, but I did.
But I did. I love me.
Well, let's take a timeout. I've compromised best of Padres, but
It's all right.
it's
no
okay.
big deal.
So we'll just play the best game. We're going to just play that best game when we come back. It's so good. You're going to love it. Dodgers, Padres. This is one where we score, gang.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's do that next on The Fan. The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed on 97.3 The Fan. So while you're listening, you can see what you missed and click to listen on demand. If you missed a guest, a feature, or something crazy that happened from earlier, we've got you covered. Download the free Odyssey app, search 97.3 The Fan, tap earlier today, and you can get started. Annie and Elsten back here with you. We got AJ Cassavell coming up in our next segment, talking Padres baseball. So let's dig in. We Christmas diverted, went down Candy Cane Lane there for a segment. Let's get into Best of Padres for today. And so now we're kind of narrowing it down due to time to maybe the most exciting single game of the year. Like when I think back to all the great games, and we've played a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think this is the one that years from now, I will say, is the one. Like,
I won't even remember it, but go ahead. Maybe. Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. This is game 109. This is Tuesday, July 30th, Petco Park. This is the game after the Padres have come back from the 9-game road trip to start the second half of the year. They've gone 7-2. Excitement is high. The trade deadline is the next day. But the Dodgers are in town, and it feels like one of those things. Because all season, the Padres have had these winning streaks, losing streaks, winning streaks, losing streaks, right? So are the Dodgers going to be the speed bump again? Are they going to slow down San Diego?
And we are post All-Star break now.
Post All-Star break, July 30th, game of the year, quite possibly. It's
I just meant like I have no memory, but like I know it's great. It's a great game.
No,
for
it's
sure.
all good.
Yeah,
it's all good. Well, enjoy. It'll be fresh.
Exactly.
To you
I'm
once
excited.
again.
I'll be like I'm watching it for the first time again.
Matt Waldron taking on Tyler Glasnow.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly the matchup that you're dying to see. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of the beginning of the wobbles of Matt Waldron down the stretch. Matt Waldron in this game gives up 5 runs in the top of the first inning. 5 runs allowed. Padres are down 5 spit to the Dodgers after 3 outs.
A tough first outing there for first inning there for Matt Waldron.
Not great, Bob.
Not great. Not ideal.
It was
not great, Bob.
It was keyed by an Andy Pajes single and a homer by a guy that you could easily win a bar bet with, I would guess, 97.3% of Dodgers fans today. If you asked them, was Kevin Biggio on the Dodgers? Be like, who? Kevin Biggio was on the Dodgers for a minute and hit a 2-run homer inside the pesky pole, the Petco pole there, into the Petco porch, and it was 5-0 L.A. top of the first. Holy cow, what are we going to do? Well, as he did all year, Manny Machado was a big brother for this team. When the team was down, he would say, I got you. Let me take care of you. And Manny set the tone to start a comeback in the bottom of the second inning.
Don't call it a comeback.
It was a nice little return over the weekend. Stings this one in the air, deep to center field. Pajes is back, looking up, gonna go! Line drive, home run to the right of the palm tree, out in center field. Manny Machado with his 15th of the year, and the Padres are on the board here in the second inning.
Okay.
Start chipping away.
5-1, second inning. I mean, it's certainly not seeming so bountifully great, but, you know, Waldron gave up 5 in the first. He gave up none in the second. And then after Manny homered, he gave up none in the third. And then in the bottom of the third, the Padres scratched again twice. Got a little rally going off of Glasnow. Jurickson Profar had an RBI single. Jake Cronenworth had an RBI double. And all of a sudden, 5-0 was 5-3 after 3 innings. Yeah. So very much a game now, right?
Very doable.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like anything for this Padres team.
And you're still early in the game. I mean, yeah, Matt Waldron let up those runs in the first inning, but the fact that you're able to close the gap within 2 by the third inning, you're in a good spot.
Here's the thing. Matt Waldron threw, a ton of pitches in that first inning, giving up 5 runs. He gets through 4 innings. He strikes out 6. He walks only the 1 that he did in the opening inning. It's 5-3, but now the Padres, they've been using that victory formula relief all road trip, right? They went 7-2. They've been playing their top relievers. So it was up to every fringe reliever that the Padres used last year to get through this game. Yuki Mitsui Scoreless inning
Hey.
against the Dodgers. In comes Steven Kolak.
Hey.
Walks 2 guys, gets through it. Scoreless inning.
Little traffic, but gets through it.
Yeah, Morahone steps in. Walks 2, gives up a hit, gets out of it with a strikeout, leaves the bases drunk. Logan Gillespie shut out the Dodgers for an inning? Yeah, he did.
Yes, sir.
He did.
Didn't he get moved? Is he moved?
Yeah, he got non-tendered.
Non-tendered or whatever.
Yeah.
But see, that was a game in which he was part of a bullpen that just kept passing the baton.
When they say it takes all 26, when
That's
they say
right.
it takes all 40, this game is an example of that, right? So you've gotten through 8 innings now. 9th inning, you go to Estrada. Estrada strikes out 2. But hey, it's still 5-3. It's still 5-3 the whole way because, yeah, Glasnow wobbled a little bit early, but he went 7 strong innings, gave up just 3. Banda came in, took care of his business.
But now it's getting a little late.
Bottom of the 9th inning. In comes Blake Trinan. Yeah, I know he got the last laugh at the end of the year in the division series, but on this night, it was not his night. At 5-3, Big Brother set a tone again.
Wait, again?
Manny Machado.
Manny, wow.
A lot of history between these two. First pitch on the way. Machado swings, hits it in the air, deep to left field. Teoscar Hernandez will watch, and it's going to go! A long home run for Machado. His second of the night, and a 1-run game in the bottom of the 9th inning. A first pitch home run for Manny Machado.
Okay.
So he got things going, and then he
5-4.
got them back into it even closer.
And who could it be to deliver the blow? How about Merrill Madness?
Merrill swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. Pages is back. He is at the wall. It's going to go!
You better believe it. We were talking about it before the game. This young man enjoys this moment, and he steps into it and owns it. Solo shot has tied this ball game at 5, and it's a new ball game.
This was the period of time where you did feel like every time Jackson Merrill was coming to the plate,
Yes.
in a situation like that, he was going to hit a home run, or he was going to get the game tying hit, or the game scoring run.
I mean, he basically did.
Whatever, the
for like
game-winning
2
run.
for like 2 weeks, he basically did.
Yeah.
He ran into these spots and he just delivered each time.
This was also like, I mean, Petco Park was going nuts.
Absolutely.
Especially,
nuts.
I mean, it's the Dodgers, right? So you have it's extra sweet.
It was extra sweet.
Also says,
Where I was
yeah.
watching, everyone was going crazy. Absolutely crazy. Top of the 10th inning, Robert Suarez fends off the Manfred man, punches out Teoscar, punches out Outman, gets Pages on a fly ball. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Alex Vesia pitching. Manfred man's on second. Higgy gets the intentional walk. Arise bunts him over. Okay. Profar gets an intentional walk. It's Vesia versus Cronenworth. We remember that from the playoffs. Mike Schultz says, hang on. El Colombiano, aquí. Donovan Solano steps to the plate.
Ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Solano swings, hits a ground ball past the dive of Hernandez, down the left field line to win it. Kim scores, Solano walks it off, and the Padres come back from a 5-0 deficit to beat the Dodgers in 10.
This team has no quit in them at all. Down 5-0 in the first. Chip away, tie it in the 9th, win it in the 10th.
To me, that's an encapsulation, too, of when that lineup was working best. And I know we didn't see it in the postseason, but you had your superstars doing superstar thing, and then you had guys coming off the bench or your $1 million a year guys or whatever also doing superstar things, clutch, getting the big hit and clutch moments. And that was kind of when the two married together, and it was working to me. That's when it was working the best, which they did a lot.
Yeah, and this was one of those games, and I really do. I circle it. This felt to me like the game where I started to get into that mode away from like, we'll see what happens this year. It's a team that's good. It's a team that's vulnerable. To no, this team's got it. Like this team has it. You don't always know what it is until you see it, but that's it. That's the thing right there. That's what this team has. And as we don't have time to play through the highlights, that game, again, is part of the 19-3 surge that the Padres had. They, in that stretch, won 4 different games in extra innings. And in 3 of the 4, Jackson Merrill hit a home run in the 8th or the 9th inning to tie the game.
Yeah, you're right. It really was that stretch where it was like every time he came to the plate and he would do it. It wasn't just like this, perceived thing. He would get it done. He would either tie it or win it, which is just insane.
Absolutely nuts. Best of Padres 2024. When we come back, AJ Cassavell joins us for his last chat with us in the 2024 campaign as we go back through the year that was for the Padres. It's AJ on the other side. Annie and Elsten right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Warner Brothers and the College Football Playoff. It's here, and you don't want to miss a moment of the action with the new 12-team format. It's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever. The College Football Playoff, presented by Allstate, begins with 4 first-round games tomorrow and Saturday on ESPN, ABC, TNT, and Max. You will be locked in for that. You're locked in for Annie and Elsten right now. Annie Heilbrunn, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprenet, and joining us on the 97.3 The Fan hotline, our friend AJ Cassavell for one more visit in 2024 talking Padres. AJ, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. It's great to have you on one more time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been quite a year.
It has been quite a year. We've been doing this segment, Best of Padres. Get some old highlights out there, get a little nostalgia from the year. We just played July 30th. Padres come from 5-0 down, beat the Dodgers. Manny and Merrill homer in the bottom of the ninth. Solano gets the RBI hit. That was my favorite game of the year. Do you have a favorite game from the year?
It's interesting. I think that's one of them because that's, I think, the day that you realized it was going to be like a Padres and Dodgers type of season, like that kind of race down to the wire. Covering my first no-hitter was pretty cool because I wasn't in Texas for Joe Musgroves, and I'd seen a couple of visiting no-hitters, but covering a Padres no-hitter for me was, I think, the most special one. So I'll say Dylan Cease, but I think probably the most frantic one was the clinching triple play.
Yeah.
Just because I had a whole that was the clinch night, and so I basically had the whole clinch story written ahead of time because what happens in the game doesn't essentially matter. What happens in the season is what mattered, and then all of a sudden, the story wasn't that anymore, and I had to erase everything and rewrite everything because they clinched in just about the wildest way imaginable. So there were definitely a lot of memorable moments. This season was wild, and that July 30th one definitely stands out too.
Yeah, Cass, that just brought back a lot of memories. The triple play, right, and then the fact that they clinched, but then the national attention also over the triple play and the astonishment of it. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's one that was really special. We're going to get into all the Padres talk for sure and what's coming in 2025. But you caught up with Will Myers. This was just sent to me, and I just saw it over the break. But you had kind of like a little, catch up, and hey, what have you been up to? And it seems like it was a really good interview. I think people can check it out by, I'm assuming you're tweeting it out, right, or going to MLB.com. But how was it? How was it to catch up with him?
It was good, and I mean, he's not technically retired. He says he will never actually retire, but he's basically said that he's moved on and he's on to the next chapter of life, and that he got tired of standing in the box against 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. They seem to get faster and faster every year. And once he got to Cincinnati and hurt his shoulder and then got released, and it was just that was that. He moved back to Charlotte. He now has a little kid. He's playing a lot of golf, and good for him. I think a lot of Padre fans. Yeah. He just has such a unique career in Padres. Like the place he occupies in Padres history as like the best player on some really bad teams, and then like a role player on some pretty good teams, and through it all, like seeing the way that vision, like he talked a little bit about Peter Seidler laying out the vision of what San Diego baseball could look like when he signed that contract, when he came over to San Diego. And then he saw that vision basically to fruition in 2022, seeing the stadium packed and playing in postseason games there. So I just think he's a guy who just has a unique place in Padres history. And I think a unique place for a lot of fans. A lot of fans obviously the Padres did not win that trade. Trey Turner was the better return, the better player. And I think Will Myers didn't live up to the level many thought after he won Rookie of the Year with the Rays in 2013, but he still accomplished a lot in his career and probably means a lot to a lot of people in San Diego. So it was cool to catch up with him and get some reflections on his time here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really well put too, because I mean, for sure there have been so many times that we screamed into the heavens about not giving up Trey Turner, right? But it's almost a uniquely Padres type of career, AJ. He had failed expectations. Yeah. He also, the thing that maybe wins him over in the end, because there was sure plenty of disappointment along the way, but like, if you wanted to play Will at first, he'd play first. Right field. Center field, yes. Third base, yes. Like, where do you want me to play? I'll do it. I've got the mop top hair, the pulling out the credit card to buy fans drinks after beating the Dodgers. Like, there's these moments of authenticity. I feel like Will he wasn't exactly maybe who the Padres dreamed on in 2016 when they franchised him the way they did, but he was authentically himself.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of what you can ask for as a fan. I mean, obviously you want him to kind of be a Hall of Fame player or whatever, live up to the expectations that you have for him when you get him. But when Wil Myers struggled, he said no one was more critical of Wil Myers when Wil Myers was struggling than himself. And so I think he related to a lot of fans just in that, like when the Padres were bad, he was grinding through it basically along with them, and he kind of had this vision as well. And then I know toward the end of his tenure in San Diego, he was maybe a little more injury riddled and not playing as much because, frankly, he wasn't hitting third anymore because Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. were in the lineup. But I think his reaction to some of those wins during the 2022 playoff run was maybe like my favorite part of covering all that, because he understood it and it meant the most to him, or at least more to him, I think. I mean, it means a lot to everyone. Everyone wants to go deep in the postseason, but him having seen where the Padres were in 2015 and 2016 and 2017 and then reaching, and not even like an accomplishment on the field standpoint, but just seeing kind of the sold out ballparks and the city going crazy after winning that Dodgers series. I think it meant something more to him.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Cass, and everyone should go read that article because it's great to hear from him, but you're absolutely right. I mean, he saw the transition. It sounds silly, but he saw the transition from like the blue uniforms to the brown and gold. He saw the transition from Petco Park being 10,000 on a Monday night to 40,000+ on a Monday night, and then just the fever as they got better and better as a team. So really, really cool that you caught up with him. And as we turn our attention, Cass, over to not a whole lot that's been going on the Padres front going into 2025. You know what? I'm going to take it a little bit of a different direction than maybe some of the other questions that we've been having surrounding the team, and go to the catcher position, because that is one, we saw Kyle Higashioka leave to the Rangers. Not really quite sure what's going on with Luis Campusano. Where do you think they ultimately go? Do you think that they're scouring the market for another catcher? Do you think they're going to give Luis Campusano another chance? Like, what do you see there? I
just think the free agent market at catcher is not very good right now. And the guys that have signed, I mean, AJ Preller at the winter meeting said that the Padres are basically in on all those guys that didn't get them. I think that's the right question to be asking, because that's the first thing. If you're looking to sign Roki Sasaki and you're looking to sign pitchers, I've had it put to me this way, like one of the things they're going to want to know is who their catcher is. And so there are some good, I mean, I don't think there's that the next, I don't know how many home runs did Kyle Higashioka and Gary Sanchez hit the last couple of years. If they don't need necessarily a 19, 18 homer catcher, but if they can get someone who works pretty well with pitchers and then on the flip side of that, pair him with Luis Campusano and maybe give Campusano another chance. If there's a trade out there to be had, I'm sure the Padres will look toward it. But right now, that's the most urgent, I would say, of all the Padres needs, because, I mean, they can fill the left field void right up until the start of the season, because those guys are pretty plentiful. And I know people want Jurickson Profar back, but there are corner outfield bats available. There are starting pitchers available, but the Padres could use a catcher to help woo those starting pitchers, one of whom is obviously very important and available right now in Roki Sasaki.
Just piggybacking off that, AJ, whoever you sign, they better be able to catch the knuckleball, man, because this team's going to need 150 innings from Matt Waldron next year.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where we're trending. I'm not entirely sure how you go about scouting that, and that's actually a really interesting question. Like, how do you know which kind of guy is capable of catching a knuckleball when there aren't knuckleballers readily available anymore, aside from the guy that just signed aside from the catcher who just signed in Texas, Higashioka. So I don't really know how the Padres go about doing that, but they're going to need look, their lineup has the potential to be really, really good, because they still have a lot of the bats they had. Jackson Merrill's going into his second year. I mean, he talked about getting better in year 2, and you've got a healthier Manny Machado than last season. Like, the lineup's good. And so if the catching spot, if you're hitting that guy 8th or 9th and they're not producing at the level the Padres have gotten some production from catchers the last 2 years, I think that's fine. But I just think you need an answer there before you need answers elsewhere.
Cass, do you think that we've heard all this talk about possibly trading Dylan Cease, right? Is that something that you think would have to happen after they find out whether or not they get Roki Sasaki, or do you think there's a timeline on it at all if that does happen? I question, part B of that is, do you think that they need to do something like that in order to fill out the rest of their roster, or is there a different alternative?
I don't think they need to do something like that. I mean, there are different paths they could take to getting to where they want to get to, which I think is staying under the CBT and putting payroll in a place that I'm not entirely sure where it is. But the nature of their contracts right now are such that, like, they have a lot of guys whose average annual values are greater than the value of their contract in 2025. And so the luxury tax number might be the one they're looking at. With that in mind, trading Dylan Cease helps in that regard, especially if you're getting multiple pitchers back in return. But it also hurts because Dylan Cease is really freaking good. Yeah. Like, he was the fourth place Cy Young finisher last season, and so I don't think it's something that the Padres would need to do. Back to your question on Cease and Sasaki, the Sasaki case I think is a really interesting one because it's kind of siphoned off from everything else the Padres are doing this offseason. Like, you can make a case that everything the Padres do this offseason, like, obviously they want Roki Sasaki, but they have to do all of the same things whether or not they get him. Because, I mean, he's a young pitcher coming from Japan who hasn't pitched more than 130 innings in the season. He's 23 years old. He's going to have to build up, and he's probably going to have to go through the year as part of a six-man rotation or a rotation that watches starts. And so essentially that means they're going to need the same number of pitchers that they would need whether or not they have Sasaki on board. On top of that, he's going to be making the league minimum. He's going to be making a rookie salary, so they don't have to pay too much attention into where they're allocating money for him. So I think you can make a case that the Padres offseason happens in one vacuum and their pursuit of Roki Sasaki happens in another vacuum. And obviously they would like for Roki Sasaki to be a Padre. That's probably the biggest goal right now, considering the timeline on that. But they have other things they have to really get done, and Dylan Cease, a potential Dylan Cease trade, I mean, that would address some of their goals, but they better make sure they get value for it. And I mean, in some ways, it's the type of deal that's like a Juan Soto light trade. Like, you're trading a guy who has 1 year of team control left, who's really good, looking for guys with more control who can fill more holes on your roster, and you're banking on them being the kind of guys that you can get a lot of value out of. The Padres did well in that Soto trade, all things considered. I would think if they're going to trade Dylan Cease, they would be looking for something similar.
AJ, we've identified 5 players on the team that have contracts that you could describe as being potentially tradable, right? We've talked about Cease. I don't think anyone wants to trade Michael King, but I mean, certainly you could. He's got a ton of value. Jake Cronenworth would be difficult, but at $12 million, a little under that for average annual value. If people think he's a 2-WAR player, the market would say that he's worth it. Robert Suarez makes $10 million next year and has an opt-out at the end of the season. Luis Arraez, of course, is an arbitration 3 player heading into free agency as well. So I'm going to ask you kind of a straightforward question in a way. Is there a scenario by which the Padres can fill the holes that you just talked about, the work that they need to do, without trading any of those 5 contracts off the team?
It's a really interesting question. That's a really interesting way of putting it. And can they fill the holes? I think so, but can they fill the holes to a standard that they want to hit? I'm more skeptical. Like, will this team be good enough to contend, like, without? Because in that scenario, they're not re-signing a profile and they're not getting a like-for-like replacement for that. They're getting a bat in left field. They're going to need someone to be the next Jerkson Profar and for $1 million or whatever, be that kind of guy. So I think if you're looking at those 5 guys, the Padres would need to trade one of them to kind of recoup value and make those numbers work. Or they're going to need to put a lot of faith in lower level signings, in some of their prospects, in some of their pitching development, and in a lot of respects, like, they've had success in those areas in the past. But I think you laid it out pretty well why we're all talking about a potential trade, because the easiest path to get there is to trade some of the talent you have for other talent elsewhere that fills the holes that you have.
Cass, you're a new dad. In the minute that we have left, any plans for Carlo in this holiday season? Has he met Santa yet? What's happened?
Carlo hasn't met Santa, but he's been to a couple. He's been to like the OB parade and
Nice.
the boat parade on Mission Bay. So he's just loving the lights. I think he's too young to grasp the concept of Santa, but definitely old enough to be enthralled by the Christmas lights. So that's we'll just get him around as many of those as possible. And he's I don't know, he's the best. And in some ways, like this Padres off season, this quiet Padres off season, I mean, it'd be nice if something happened, but for now, having an 8-month-old, it's getting to spend time with him has been pretty awesome.
That's fantastic.
Wonderful stuff. Congratulations, AJ, to the whole family. Have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for all the times you've come on the show. We'll continue the conversation, obviously, on the other side of the new year. But, best of luck to the whole family through the winter holidays. And can't wait to talk some more ball with you on the other side.
Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
There he goes, the great AJ Cassavell.
Yeah, really good insight there. Really good perspective. I mean, stuff that we've been talking about and hearing from him, and he was at the winter meetings too, just kind of what he's been hearing and how he looks at it. But I think it's cool also that he caught up with Will Myers. I mean, that's a great point that, like, Will was part of that complete transformation. I remember when Will would stand in the dugout and look over at the Dodgers, and he knew they had no chance, okay? And he saw this team all the way to where they were contenders with the Dodgers and with the rest of baseball for playoffs. So really, really cool to hear from him again.
Yeah. Outstanding stuff. Good all the way around, and a great way to wrap up a mostly baseball-dominated second hour of the Annie and Elsten program. Some gift talk in between, but we got through from here to there. All right, so second half of the show coming up. 12 o'clock Sports Fix is next, followed by Mark Neville joining us from the Holiday Bowl for confirmation that those teams are still going to be there.
They're all going to be on the field.
Everything's going to be cool. It's just kind of like "Are you okay, Mark?" We're gonna check in with Mark.
Burning around you meme. Yes.
Nothing to see
Nothing
here.
to see. Everything's fine.
Fine.
We're playing Fast Money Holiday Edition after that. San Diego FC's schedule is out. We will get into it in the 12 o'clock Sports Fix right after this. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Lunchtime on Thursday, December 19th. Hope you're having a wonderful day. It's the midpoint of the Annie and Elsten program as we head from morning until afternoon with Annie Halbrin and Craig. I'm Craig Elsten. Hang on. With Annie Halbrin.
Yeah.
He draws the foul.
And Braden Soprano.
I thought he was about to say Brandon.
No, I wasn't. No, I was just messing with you on that one.
Look at these guys.
Production.
What was that?
I think it's all the extra bobbleheads and stuff that we
Polly
have.
and Woodsy with a dolly going by our window and tons of boxes on it.
We're getting set up for tomorrow's extravaganza.
They are getting
I
ready.
mean, Woodsy being here 1 second beyond 9:56 is already
Their hair, both of them,
wild.
they look like they've been through it already.
Amazing. Well, anyways, it's time for the 12 o'clock sports fix. It's time for all the sports
Should
news
be
of the
fun.
day. And here's Annie.
All right. The Cubs have been extremely active on the trade market over the past week, but it seems their latest deal may have hit a snag. Bruce Levine of 670 The Score said on air this morning that Chicago's talks for Marlins lefty Jesus Luzardo, quote, appear to be dead after having some serious momentum earlier in the week. It's not entirely clear whether the parties will seek to rekindle negotiations, but there is a suggestion that medical reviews on one side or the other could have thrown a wrench into the talks. Now, speaking of the Cubs, per Jesse Rogers of ESPN, Sammy Sosa, who has been estranged from the team, put out a statement apologizing to the Chicago Cubs and their fans in an effort to rebuild a relationship with both. A portion of that statement reads, quote, there were times I did whatever I could to recover from injuries in an effort to keep my strength up to perform over 162 games. I never broke any laws, but in hindsight, I made mistakes and I apologize. The Cardinals are reportedly looking to trade Nolan Arenado this offseason, but the talks are complicated by the fact that Nolan has a full no-trade clause in his contract. Per a report from MLB.com and then The Athletic, the Cards and Astros were in discussion on a trade to send him to Houston before Arenado informed St. Louis that he would not be waiving his no-trade clause to join the Astros. But he's also not ever going to waive that no-trade clause. He isn't shutting the door entirely. He's waiting to see who else comes to the table or what else happens this offseason. So he may go to the Astros depending on if other offers come in for him or how desperately he wants out of St. Louis, and also depending on if the Astros will keep the offer on the table or move on from him down the road. We'll see. The Mets are in agreement with right-hander Griffin Canning on a 1-year, $4.25 million free agent deal.
$4.5 million for that guy.
I guess that is a lot.
You can't buy anything.
And it's 1 year. Like yeah.
Shall we discuss his statistics from last year?
Well, I'll finish this and then yes. The contract, which is pending a physical, contains another $1 million in performance bonuses. The second round pick by the Angels in 2017 hasn't had much success in the majors. But at least this is according to reports. He is coming off a season in which he made a career-high 31 starts.
Well, he did start 31 games.
And pitched 171 2/3 innings. He'll join a Mets rotation that needs arms. I honestly don't know what his numbers were for these landmark innings.
Well, he led the league in earned runs allowed, served up 31 homers in 171 innings, walked 66, had a whip of 1.4, and an ERA of 5.20. So
he's getting $4.25 million with a performance bonus of $1 million if he hits those numbers.
Yeah, and the best year he ever had was 56 innings of 4 ERA. So
just tells you where the numbers are.
Yeah, basically this is telling you that average pitcher, $23 million. Kind of fringy back of the rotation starter, $17 million. Completely unusable mop-up dude, $4.5 million. So if you're looking for a bargain in the market, don't. It's not there.
Seriously.
Unless there's a Peter Bendix out there that just doesn't see it.
Wild. Absolutely wild. I want to talk more about Sosa, too. But over to Braden first.
Let's get through some NFL news. Will be my only news of the day. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes will most likely start for the Chiefs in Saturday's game against the Texans at Arrowhead Stadium, head coach Andy Reid said. Reid said Mahomes took a full practice workload Thursday, the Chiefs' final session of the week. He also was a full practice participant in the Tuesday and Wednesday practices. He did look good out there, Reid said. He moved around pretty good, so you're always looking to make sure they can get out the way, not to further any harm to them, so that's what I look at. So they're expecting Mahomes to start Saturday against the Texans. Again, big slate of football games coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a little bit. They are also, Kansas City, activating wide receiver Hollywood Brown from the injured reserve and play him in Saturday's game against the Texans unless he has any setbacks in warmups, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler on Thursday. Brown hasn't played for the Chiefs and suffering a sternoclavicular injury.
Clavicular.
Yes.
Clavicle
Thingies.
clavicle thingy.
A sternoclavicle
Sterno thingy.
injury on the first play of the first preseason game against the Jags. He had surgery and was in rehab before returning to practice for the first time last week. Chiefs coach Andy Reid said Thursday there's a good chance Brown plays on Saturday. So good news for all the Chiefs kingdom out there. 49ers going to be out with another running back. Running back Isaac Guerendo is dealing with a hamstring injury and is unlikely to play Sunday at the Dolphins, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Guerendo has risen to the top of the Niners depth chart at the position that has been decimated by injury this season. Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, and Elijah Mitchell all sustained season-ending injuries this season. Guerendo injured his hamstring last week against the Rams after he was questionable for that game because of a foot injury. He did not participate in Wednesday's practice. The other running backs in the Niners' 53-man roster are Patrick Taylor Jr. and Israel Abanikanda. Taylor is expected to get the first shot to replace Guerendo, and the Niners will also have running back Keyshawn Vaughn on the practice squad as he has been elevated the past two games with Abanikanda inactive. So another running back gone for the Niners.
Off the board.
Talked about the NBA changing their All-Star game a little bit. NFL's doing the same. NFL is adding a game show.
Yeah.
And a punting contest.
Yeah.
To its Pro Bowl skills competition in
what?
February.
Yeah.
A game show?
Trivia.
They should play Family Feud at this point. AFC versus NFC.
Like is it football related or?
Okay. Not done with my
Is it
report
pop
there.
culture? Oh,
Annie?
sorry, Braden.
Listen on.
Foul. Interrupting.
Right, just stepping in. That's a just a blocking
That's
foul.
a block right here.
Just
Yeah,
so-
just block on Annie.
I'm so stunned by it. But go ahead.
League
Sorry.
announced Thursday the full list of challenges, including tug of war and dodgeball. The games will take place in Central Florida and finish with a 7-on-7 flag football game between the AFC and NFC on February
wait.
2nd. New this year are Helmet Harmony, a game show that will test players' knowledge of their teammates, and Punt Perfect that features one punter and one non-punter. The two players from each conference will punt from the 35-yard line, aiming to land as many balls as possible into 6 buckets positioned in the end zone. Why are we punting for touchbacks? That's kind of lame. The passing and receiving competitions have a new twist this year. Quarterbacks will have 40 seconds to hit targets at various distances around the field, with each target worth different point values. Before the challenge, the quarterbacks will select a Pro Bowl game's teammate to answer 5 trivia questions about current Pro Bowl players. For every correct answer, the quarterback gets an additional 10 seconds.
This
Helmet
couldn't be worse.
Harmony. In the catching challenge, one
Wait,
rider...
what do they call it?
Helmet Harmony.
Yeah.
Helmet Harmony?
Helmet Harmony.
What if I love this?
Well, it's eyewash,
It's
so you would
eyewash.
definitely
It's
love
such
this.
eyewash. Okay, continue.
You would definitely be involved in watching this. Passing and receiving competition, and we talked about that. In the catching challenge, one receiver, tight end, and defensive back from each conference will compete in an obstacle course, including catches from a jugs machine at 3 different distances to test every aspect of catching a football. The other competitions include a relay race and a great football race.
Wait, haven't we been calling for them to have more skill stuff?
They've been doing this.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know
But
what
it's a
happened?
lot
We
of-
called for it, and then they did it, and then we didn't watch anyway.
I don't think it was that exciting, right?
Yeah, because just stop.
Where
Just
is it this
stop.
year, Braden?
Florida somewhere.
It's
It's
always
ba-
in
it's- is it
Florida. It's
Florida every year
Orlando.
now?
I guess.
It'll
Well, they
probably
don't have
rain.
anywhere to go in Hawaii anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the third year of the Pro Bowl games. Third year of the Pro Bowl games after the NFL eliminated the full contact All-Star game, replaced it with week-long skills competitions and a flag football game. Peyton and Eli Manning are back as head coaches for the
Of
two
course.
conferences.
Wow.
Skills
Original.
challenges will be broadcast live on Thursday, January 30th on ESPN from 7 to 8:30 Eastern. Flag football game will be played at Camping World Stadium and will be broadcast at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Eastern time on ESPN and ABC. I mean, why can't we host this at this point? They're playing at Camping World Stadium. in Orlando. It's not even like they're at an NFL stadium.
The winning coach will have a bucket of Gatorade poured over his head, and everyone watching will have a bucket of terrible content poured over their eyes.
When's Pop-Tarts get involved? That is where the
Please.
Pop-Tarts Bowl is. Maybe the
Keep
Pop-Tarts
the
remains
Pop-Tarts.
will be down there.
I'm all about the Pop-Tarts. I'm all about this. Time for my report. And, gang, we've got a schedule. We have a schedule for San Diego FC.
Here, I got it here.
Full schedule released in the last hour. Let me start with what should be the top line headline. MLS did not send Messi to San Diego. We're not even playing Inter Miami once next
You would
year.
think if you're trying to grow a new team
Yes.
in MLS,
You would think.
That's
think.
right.
You would think that whatever the computer popped out for SDFC, if it didn't have Inter Miami in dark blue for home, they would say redo.
Yeah, like you keep refreshing it
Yeah.
to get the new
Spin
out
it
the
again
new-
and see
yeah.
what happens.
That does seem weird. I mean, you do want to give your new teams a draw, excitement.
What are you doing, MLS? Oh, there's our first one. My buddies, for years, my buddy Jerry did the LAFC podcast, and he always said, MLS gonna MLS. And that was like their catchphrase, was MLS gonna MLS. I think we've had our first ever San Diego experience of MLS MLSing right now. No Miami?
Say so.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Okay, so the season officially starts February 23rd at Dignity Health Sports Park at the LA Galaxy. Before it was like the 22nd or the 23rd, so now we know it's the 23rd. We already knew the first home match will be March 1st against St. Louis City FC or SC. Columbus Crew comes in town March 15th. LAFC makes their first appearance at Snapdragon Stadium March 29th. The Sounders come in on April 5th. Real Salt Lake on April 26th. FC Dallas on May 3rd. Colorado Rapids on May 14th. Sporting SC, that's the Kansas City team. They come in on May 17th. Galaxy on May 24th. Austin checks in on May 31st. Houston Dynamo on July 5th. July 16th and 19th, we'll see the SDFC Blue and Chrome and Azul host Toronto, Vancouver, and Nashville on the 16th, 19th, and 25th of July.
Nashville.
Then the Leagues Cup, whole month of no games in the regular season.
What month is that?
July 29th, basically all the month of August. No games.
So does SDFC still play, just not at home?
Yeah, they'll probably play in the Leagues Cup. We'll figure that
What's-
one out. Maybe
is
we
that
should ask
a
Marcelo
given?
Balboa.
Okay, wait,
Why don't
what-
we?
okay, let's ask
write that
Marcelo.
down to ask
Yeah,
Marcelo.
yeah. Well-
What's up with Leagues Cup?
Leagues Cup.
Final home games will be August 23rd against Portland Timbers, September 13th against Minnesota United, and September 27th would be the home finale against the Quakes from San Jose. The regular season will end with an October 18th road game to Portland, and Miami is just not on the schedule. You don't play every team in the league every year in cross-conference, and apparently they did a randomizer, and we didn't get Miami this year, so that's
How many games are there? Like a roundabout? No, you don't have to count. It's okay. I'm just wondering how. I'm
18, 24.
wrapping my head around MLS
and
here.
29 and
On air,
34.
live. 34.
34 regular season home matches.
all.
17 home, 17 away. 34.
That's
But when
pretty
you consider
good.
it's basically one a week almost all the time.
Yeah, that's
So,
cool.
Yeah, it's
I'm not
34 out of
complaining.
52 weeks.
Right.
Then you got the Leagues Cup, then you got the preseason.
You got a
then
whole
got the
month where like nothing's happened.
postseason.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, so
there's like some break.
yeah, but yeah, August we get to lock in on the trade deadline and
Yeah.
Padres baseball. Hopefully winning Padres baseball. And then right back in. Rolling. Okay, wait a second. Hang on.
Il619, what channel will carry MLS games? It will
Apple
be on
TV
Apple
Plus.
TV Plus.
Apple
yeah.
TV
and it's a
Plus.
subscription, an
Yeah.
extra subscription.
I have no idea what the Leagues Cup is. Now I'm looking at this and the SDFC plays games in August. August 9th, August 17th, August 23rd, August 31st. So maybe they don't play in the leagues? I have no idea.
Okay,
The
we'll
Leagues
ask
Cup
them
is
about
July
Leagues Cup.
29th to August 31st. Are those not League Cup games?
And maybe they're just automatically League Cup games.
Well, we'll ask the expert in an
Yeah.
hour. We'll ask. It's not any of us. We'll ask the expert in an hour. San Diego FC did announce the signing this morning, of veteran midfielder Anibal Godoy to a one-year deal with club options for 2026 and 2027. Godoy is the captain of Panama's national team. He's played 4 years in San Jose, 5 seasons in Nashville SC. This is a seasoned MLS veteran. Anibal Godoy is joining the San Diego FC midfield.
Cool.
San Diego Gulls lost in Tucson yesterday 5-1. They go to Colorado now for games on Friday and Saturday. And to follow up to a story I brought you on Monday, MASL's weekly show, MASL Under Review, put the microscope to Saturday night's Utica City FC San Diego Sockers match, and in particular, the overtime disallowing of Utica's game-winning goal due to a foul that was created on replay. Well, the director of officials for the MASL, Ryan Sigich, on the Under Review show, announced that they never should have reviewed the play. That the play was really, not that it was unreviewable, it was allowed to be reviewed, but that in the estimation of the head referee, it was an incorrect decision to review it at all.
So will the official get penalized, or is it just kind of like you're publicly kind of slapped on the hand there? So it's, which makes sense sometimes, right? Like, hey.
Yeah. Well, they have an internal evaluation system, so, could that affect him down the road?
Right.
Sure. He was one of their highest rated refs the last couple of years, but, basically the league literally announcing that Utica should have won and San Diego should have lost.
Wow.
But San Diego did win, and Utica did lose. So they're not changing the result. They're just saying that the result's wrong. Well, that's what I thought when it happened as well. Yesterday, the NBA had the day off. Today, the NBA roars back into action with 13 games. The Lakers are at Sacramento. The Clippers are at Dallas. And Oklahoma City, which just lost the NBA Cup, they had to fly east from Vegas to take on Orlando. They are on the road at Orlando tonight. Meanwhile, in the NHL last night, Anaheim stunned the Winnipeg Jets at Honda Center 3-2. Our beloved Jets fall to Braden's beloved Ducks. And that's fine. That's fine. Detroit, Toronto, Florida, and Utah also picked up victories yesterday. Tonight there will be... I just said Utah. They literally play there.
That's like 2 fouls.
I feel like that's not a foul. Like, can I call timeout to review that one? I didn't say hockey club. I just
still said
Utah.
In the hockey segment.
That's fine. Tonight the Kings play
and you
at
root against
Philadelphia.
my Ducks, so.
That's more like it. Today the Kings play at Philadelphia, and that's all I have.
I need to go find that. There's that Ducks account where they have like the duck, and he's like tapping his web feet on a drum, and they play it every time the Ducks win. It's like a happy duck. I gotta go find it.
You do have to find that. That's a good one for tomorrow.
It's great. I see it every time they win. It's awesome.
I'm not rooting against the Ducks all the time. Only when they play our beloved Jets.
Your beloved Jets.
My beloved
Let's
Jets.
not say our. You got a mouse in your pocket?
me and the dog. We both love the Jets.
Is that Sammy?
It's not. Oh. That's a bulldog, actually, but
a bulldog with Christmas lights. It's adorable.
It is adorable.
Yes.
Okay, when we come back, Mark Neville joins us from the Holiday Bowl, and we'll get the latest from him. We've got fast money to follow here in the 12 o'clock hour of Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? We always bottle our Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all our bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from our own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. When we need info on the Holiday Bowl coming up December 27th, we go to our spring source, and that is Mark Neville, the red coat of red coats, the Jefe de la Jefe. He joins us once again here on Annie and Elsten. Mark, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. It is always great to chat with you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I very much appreciate it.
Let's talk about the game. I just heard you chatting with Braden during the break. You said Syracuse is loaded for bear. They're hungry. They're ready to go. Washington State will be there. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Syracuse, there's not many opportunities to get 10 wins in the season, and that's what Syracuse is looking to do. And everything we're hearing out of their camp is that they are coming here to win a football game, and they're going to do everything they can to win it big. Kyle McCord, their quarterback, who's the leading passer in terms of yardage in the country. This is an opportunity for him on national television to show not only how great of a quarterback he is and ready for the next level, but also how great his Syracuse Orange team is. And so they're fired up, ready to go. This is definitely a business trip for them. And then on the other side, we've seen all the news out of Washington State and the coaches and a few of their players, notably John Mateer, their quarterback, getting in the transfer portal. But I will tell you, I've been communicating with Washington State a lot, and their team is hungry. Like they have something to prove. Last year, with USC, when Caleb Williams opted out of our game, a relatively unknown quarterback, Miller Moss, stepped in and he ended up throwing bowl record 6 touchdowns. So they're going to look to do that. They want to show one last time that they're a good football program, that they belong. They're hungry. They want to win this game next Friday, and they're going to do everything they can to do it. And so it's going to be, the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. It's known for these high-scoring affairs, right? I don't think this matchup is any different. I think there are going to be a lot of points scored next Friday at Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah, Mark, like you mentioned, you guys went through this last year when about 24 players opted out of the game between the two teams. So you're no stranger to it, but on the side of the Holiday Bowl, like what are you trying to ensure? You can't control, obviously, what the coaches do and what the players do and who's going to play and not play. What are you trying to ensure and lock down as we get closer and closer so that you're giving fans kind of the event that you want it to be?
Yeah, we have a 45-year history, I'd like to say, of excellence. The things that we can control is the experience that the fans are going to have at Snapdragon Stadium. We are going to have a fan zone, going back to Mission Valley for the first time since 2019, back to our old home. And we're going to have a free fan zone for all the fans on the west side of the on the east side of the stadium pregame. And then our pregame show is a salute to our local military community. We'll have the flyover. We'll have the skydivers. We're going to have the giant American flag and then the 2 university marching bands. The halftime show is going to be spectacular, having marching bands and dancers coming from all around the country for that. And, of course, post-game, we have Sky Show, a monster fireworks show. It'll be, I think it's 22 minutes long after the game. Joey Chestnut's our honorary chair. He'll be in the house as well. And then, of course, we do have a knack for the things that we can control is putting on an exciting football game, and it usually always happens. And then, and on top of that, we're a volunteer-run organization, and then all of our red coats are the best in the business. Nobody does a better job, and our group rolls out the red carpet for the players participating in the game, the marching bands, the cheer squads, and the fans. And we hear it over and over again that we provide the very best bowl experience. And not only for the players, they're going to get to go on a Navy ship and get a tour by sailors that are basically their same age. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. They're going to enjoy SeaWorld. They're going to enjoy America's finest city.
That's really cool.
And the fans at the game, are going to have an incredibly memorable time. And so regardless, the experience for the fans is second to none.
Absolutely. As you guys have been doing this, you know how to do it right. You've been doing it for years. You nail the experience. You nail the culture of the city and bringing the excitement to San Diego. And I'm just curious, when you get into an agreement with somebody like Joey Chestnut, are there certain riders in his deal in terms of spread, fine dining, I assume?
Green M&Ms and stuff like that.
I need a plate of 42 hot dogs, and I need it right next to me.
I will tell you, Joey Chestnut is the easiest going guy you'll ever meet. Just a normal dude who's looking forward to coming to San Diego. He's got family apparently in Chula Vista. Comes here a couple times a year. He loves this place. He loves college football. And fortunately, he loves parades because he'll be the Grand Marshal of the Port of San Diego Holiday Bowl Parade on game day. And then also he'll be the honorary chair of this year's DirecTV Holiday Bowl. So excited to have him. And really, he's a great guy and looking forward to having a good time.
And, shocker, beautiful weather we've been having here in San Diego, which makes it a wonderful time for a parade or a game and for people to be outside. Mark, how much eggnog can you drink? Like, how much eggnog do you think you could slam down?
And we'll say non-alcoholic just to keep you up.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So I do like eggnog. So, we started a new tradition last year where the winning coach gets nog on the noggin. And so to test this out, I was actually the test subject about a year ago now.
Wow.
So in December. It was a cold, rainy day. We went outside our office and we tested it. We dumped a few gallons of eggnog on my head, and I was freezing. I went and took a shower. We have showers here in our office, thank goodness. And then I'm sitting at my office. About an hour later, I smelled the eggnog again. And then about 2 hours later, I still smelled eggnog, and it was old eggnog, and it didn't taste. So it did get me off of eggnog for maybe, it took me the rest of the year. So I had eggnog last night, I think for the first time since then, and I like it again, and I never want to get dunked again. So
you had to create some distance for yourself between. I mean, that's a very distinct smell.
Yes, it is, especially when it gets in the lining of your nostrils. And gets old. Yeah, that's what happened. So you think my job's easy?
No,
that's right. No, we don't.
No.
And I think you should let Joey Chestnut know you have experience with this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, he's not going to get dunked. He's
dunking.
His title,
dunking.
actually,
Okay.
He is coordinating the dunking. He doesn't want to get in trouble with the coach, so the players will actually be the ones.
What, he's just going to point? He's going to be like, and now.
Exactly. He's like the conductor. He is our CEO. He's taken my role, but for him it's Chief Eggnog Officer. So
a great role to have.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, Mark, best of luck. HolidayBowl.com. Easy to find the tickets. Button right there on top. Everyone get on out. Let's support this great institution that is going to have another great show. Syracuse and Washington State coming up.
Can I say one thing, guys?
Of course.
Well, I guess.
I am I am a procrastinator. I'm horrible at buying Christmas gifts on time and everything. And I bet you there's a lot of people out there listening right now who are like, I'm in that same boat. An easy way to do it, have your family, have your friends have a great time, memorable time, December 27th. Go to holidaybowl.com and you can do your Christmas gift shopping right there.
Yes.
Great stuff,
You
Mark.
know what? Who wants to go to the mall, Mark? You can do that, and you're sitting on your couch. You don't even need to leave your house.
And have some eggnog and just click a few buttons, and you're good to go on December 27th.
I love it.
All right, Mark, have a great rest of your afternoon. Look forward to seeing you out there. Appreciate everything.
Happy holidays, everybody.
You too.
The CEO of Sports San Diego, the man still with nasal memories of eggnog.
Especially once the eggnog starts to sit in the sun or starts to smell old.
Yeah.
That's a very cream-based thing.
that's
so That's not.
It's creamy.
You don't want that.
It's creamy.
It's very
At least
creamy.
I think if you're going to do that, you should have it alcoholic, so you get some benefit there.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You're not kidding.
The alcohol drown out the eggnog smell.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it just looks like you spent a lot of time, partying overnight.
Let's take a break. When we come back, it is time for our Thursday edition of Silly Games. And today, it is Fast Money. We're playing Fast Money today, the bonus round from the very popular Family Feud game show, where if you can do better at matching a recent Annie and Elsten studio audience's questions than either Annie or I, you will be qualified for our end-of-the-month grand prize drawing, which is a 2-night stay at Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino and 2 tickets to Hoops Central at the Westgate Superbook during the month of March when they do the mad things. So, we need a contestant. We need one contestant right now to play Fast Money. And as such...
Whatever the bow.
Oh, the bow's there, Braden.
He took it
Don't
off.
worry.
No,
Yeah.
don't do that.
833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. That's our phone number. We have opened up the phones officially with the jingling of the bell. Therefore, you can call 833-288-0973. We'll come back. We will play Fast Money next on The Fan. 1241 on the Fan. Great to be with you on this Thursday. Hey, Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Heard about it? Features newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations. Home of legendary Vegas fun. You can experience the madness of March as only Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino can serve it up to you with high-definition screens, luxury seating, table service, and access to all the best gaming action. For tickets, head to westgateresorts.com or be online now. Get picked. Win fast money. And you'll be qualified to win this exact prize package. 2-night stay at Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. 2 tickets to Hoop Central at the Westgate Superbook. We've only had about 6 qualifiers. We've only got 2 more games to play. So good odds to get into the hopper and win. Let's play today's silly game, and it's a holiday edition of Fast Money. Here we go. It is the bonus round from the very popular Family Feud game show. It's Fast Money on Annie and Elsten, where we recently surveyed an Annie and Elsten crowd, got their answers to questions. Just walked around to the sales guys. Hey, what do you think? Now we
play
the
cricket
game.
noises in the background?
Right, exactly. We tried to find them, but they weren't there. So then we came back to you. Okay, it's time to play Fast Money, and today's contestant is Zach in Lakeside. Hi, Zach. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, brother. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we play the game.
Oh, I just like to have fun and make money, so let's make some money.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, Zach. Here's how the game's played. Very straightforward. It'll start with a choice by you. You will either take on Annie or Elsten. The one who you pick will leave. And then our resident Steve Harvey, Mr. Braden Soprano, will stand by. He's got 5 holiday-themed Fast Money questions for you. You're going to be looking for the most popular answer to those questions. The host then comes back in, cannot repeat the answers you used. Big advantage to you. We'll add up the scores at the end, and if you win, you're in the drawing. So, Zach, who would you like to play today, Craig or Annie?
Who played last?
Oh, that's a good
I
question.
have no idea.
I think I played last.
Okay, well then let's play Annie.
Oh, right.
Sounds like a planny. There goes Annie. I've been an easy mark on this game, by the way. Now that you've made your choice, I'll just let you know I think I've lost like 5 out of 7.
He has been very well.
I did win that one. Remember with the A state, name an A state? I won that one on the last question. That's the only time I've won that I remember. Anyway, Zach, you're taking on Annie. Here comes Braden. I'm keeping score.
All right, 1 minute on the clock after I ask you question number 1. If you need to pass for any reason, you can say pass. We can get back to it if we have more time. Question number 1. Not really a question, but name a popular Christmas song.
White Christmas.
White Christmas.
Okay.
Oh, can I say Blue Christmas? That's what I meant.
Blue Christmas?
No.
Do you really want to change? No, don't change your answer.
You're not changing.
Okay.
No, I'm not changing my answer.
Name a popular Christmas movie.
Jingle Bells.
A Christmas movie?
That's a movie?
Oh, Santa Claus. Holy smokes. I'm bad at this.
I would tend to agree, but let's go on to question number 3.
I would tend to agree. All right. Are you locked in, Zach?
We need you to lock in, Zach.
We need you to lock in.
Get locked.
I'm locked in.
Lock in.
Locked in.
Okay,
I'm ready now.
Here we go.
We're focused on fast money. Name a Christmas decoration.
Jingle Bells.
There it is. You're going to find a home for that answer somewhere.
Guy's not locked in. Guy's the opposite of locked in right now. Name a traditional Christmas food.
Ham.
Ham. There we go.
All right.
We're going ham.
Name a common Christmas gift.
Money.
Be generic.
Yeah, no, that's right. Money it is.
All right,
Zach.
That'll do it.
I'm going to put you on hold, brother.
Yeah, he probably ain't winning today.
I don't know. We'll see. Things have happened.
What's his name again?
This is Zach.
It's Zach. Guy's not locked.
Zach Attack.
Zach. Well, Zach likes
is-
to make money and have fun.
Zach Attack created a lot of entertainment.
I don't think he's gonna be making a lot of money.
We're going to
And
find out.
I don't think
We're
at the
gonna
end of
find
this he said
Well, this is a holiday edition, right?
is a
I don't know that
holiday
I'm going to know
edition.
any of these.
I think you might.
I think
Okay.
you
I
will.
think you'll be fine.
I think you'll be okay, Annie.
There we go.
All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Name a popular Christmas song.
Oh my God! Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Oh,
go
I have a
Rudolph.
different one. Can I say a different one?
No.
Okay. Like Holy
That's
Night.
that's
Okay.
that's the second person that asked that.
Zach has the same thing.
Name
crazy.
a popular Christmas movie.
Elf.
Elf.
That's
This is
a great
gonna
answer.
be. It's
a
gonna
great
be
answer.
too new.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not okay.
It's
All right.
on there.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Name a Christmas decoration.
Mistletoe.
All right.
Mistletoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's right, Zach. Meet me in the mistletoe.
What?
Whoa.
Excuse
What?
me? Is it getting warm in
I
here?
didn't say anything. I don't
Name
even
a
know who that was.
Name a traditional Christmas food.
Eggnog.
Yeah.
No, I'm not counting that. That's a drink.
Traditional Christmas
Yeah, that's true.
food.
That's a
like
food. Yeah, things you eat.
During Christmas time.
Christmas.
like a roast.
food. A
Like-
roast.
A roast beef.
Roast beast
Roast
is
beef.
what they serve in Whoville, if I remember right.
Okay, name a common Christmas gift.
Socks.
Socks. Sock it to them. All right, this might be a close game.
It's pretty close.
Here we go.
Wait, I don't have any more.
No, that's 5.
That'd be fine.
That's 5.
Annie.
All right,
Let's bring Zach.
Zach's back.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in both of your guys' answers.
I
Zach,
said I
it's
like to make money and have fun. I never said I was good at it.
Well, hey, fun is definitely in
It's
play.
up to you.
It's kind of
you
hard
know?
to think of holiday things on the spot. I don't know why. They're just like in your head.
The fact that both of you wanted to change your first answer after you answered it was hilarious.
That is amazing.
And the best part is you were going to change it to a worse answer.
Each time. All right, let's
Name
get
a
going.
popular Christmas song. Zach said
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
White
Good
Christmas.
one, Bing Crosby.
15 points.
He then asked to change it to Blue Christmas, and we
which
said
would have been no. It would have been a 0.
Right.
Annie said
Rudolph
the
the
Red-Nosed Reindeer.
What? What
0.
about Holy Night? That's what I was going to change it to. What?
Jingle Bells was number
Jingle
1.
Bells.
Jingle
Duh.
Bells.
Were you meant Silent Night?
Oh yeah, Silent Night.
Silent Night is 25 points.
I mean,
That
Holy
was
Night.
second.
Oh, Holy
Oh, that's
Night.
right.
maybe I meant Holy Night.
Well, so
No.
Jingle Bells,
Sing it.
Silent Night, White Christmas, Deck the
crazy.
Halls, and
Deck
All
the
I Want for
Halls.
Christmas is You.
Oh, wow.
good
We even
old
got a
Mariah
little
in the
Mariah.
mix,
Yeah. NBA fans there.
Name a popular Christmas movie.
Zach with the popular Christmas movie, Santa Claus. Maybe The Santa Claus.
God.
The Santa Claus was a movie
It was.
with Tim Allen. All right.
a
And
good
he said
movie.
Elf.
25 points.
Oh.
25-15 lead.
We have a new leader. And
New
he's
leader.
up by 10.
That's right. Home Alone was number 1. Followed by
yeah.
Elf, A Christmas Story, It's a Wonderful Life, and Polar Express.
What about Top Gun?
Is Die Hard on that
Die
list?
Hard, I meant.
Die Hard's
yeah.
not. Top Gun?
Top Gun.
No, I meant Die Hard.
Okay.
He draws the foul.
Unreal.
I'm like.
No,
I
Die
think
Hard's
I've
not
been-
on there.
I think I had some eggnog. So,
Do you have some spiked eggnog?
so.
Are you okay?
Let's go to question 3.
Okay. Name a Christmas decoration.
Zach, who was trying to place this answer through
3
each of the
times.
first 3 questions, lands Jingle Bells here.
And picked it for the worst one.
Should have put it in the top one.
Top one got you 40. This one gets you 0. Third place,
I
you're
guess
fired.
like lights would be a good choice.
I think lights would have been a great
Lights
choice.
would have been
I
a
think
great choice.
Tree would have been a great
tree.
choice as well.
Mistletoe.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you people?
Do we want to count that as a wreath? It's not a wreath.
No, it's not a
No.
wreath.
Number 1 answer was a Christmas tree.
Yeah, a tree.
Followed by ornaments, followed by lights, followed by a wreath, followed by tinsel.
Those are also basic. Me and Zach had interesting answers.
Yes, you did.
If you're trying to pick
for
the
a party,
answer,
I want Annie's answer.
if you're trying to pick the answer
want
that
some Jingle Bells.
100 people pick, wouldn't you pick a more generic answer?
I'm telling you, those slip my mind. They're so obvious. I think they're hard to.
Well, this is
think of.
anyone's game, gang.
Although I could have
Annie
looked right
is trying
in front
to
of me.
play fast money like it's immaculate grid.
Going for rarity
Yeah,
score.
exactly. Rarity score high. Mistletoe.
Oh, my God.
Name
I
a
picked
traditional
Shane
Christ-
Victorino.
Name a traditional Christmas food.
Zach might win it on this. He said ham.
25.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Ham is
But I said
40 points.
You just said roast. Roast beast.
Roast beast is only in Whoville. It's a 0. Turkey was number 1. That is a lame answer. Lame answer. Mince pies,
Who eats mince pies?
gingerbread cookies, and fruitcake.
Come on. Is this a list of terrible Christmas foods?
It said traditional Christmas food.
Well, some traditional Christmas foods are terrible.
Nobody said it had to be delicious.
My God.
What about candy canes?
Not on there.
Oh.
I just went through them.
Which way would you eat that? Never mind. Different show. Okay, it's 40-25, Zach. Going to the last question.
You're
One
killing it.
question
We're
to
going for
go.
golf score.
40-25.
40-25.
Name a
Zach.
common Christmas gift.
Zach said money. Old cash money, baby.
Guy likes
Straight cash,
making it.
homie.
Doesn't like giving it. 0.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, I might have a good answer here.
Annie needs 15 to tie, 16 to win, and she said socks.
Are we counting clothes?
No.
No.
0. Clothes would be 25 points, and she would win. And we don't count
No.
clothes,
No,
even
no.
though it's generic for all of them.
Socks are socks.
Zach, with his very interesting answers, and it sounds like 3 times he said jingle bells,
Yeah.
wins the game.
He wins 40-20. He
Zach,
wins
I have
40
no
to 25.
idea how you won that game. That is,
He likes to party and make money.
that's the lowest scoring game in the history of Fast
I was
Money.
going for golf score.
You
on that.
were.
Yeah, seriously.
Zach, nonetheless, you succeeded. Despite your best efforts, you did win this
Yeah, we
game.
both try to lose.
And as such, please stay on hold because Braden will get your information during the break. Thank you. Happy holidays. We are happy to put you in the hopper. Maybe this luck will continue for you, and you will be the winning ticket at the end.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Appreciate
In the
you.
chat, Arby's, we have the meats.
Roast beast.
Roast. Just a roast.
Name a common Christmas gift. The number 1 answer was toys.
Yeah,
Oh,
toys.
yeah.
Obviously,
Toys.
30. Clothes was 25. I think it would have counted clothes. I mean, she picked a specific article of
I
clothing.
mean, yeah, but a shirt or a pant, I would agree. But a sock is more
If
of
she
an
would've
underwear.
said
Is
an
underwear its own category or
If
no?
she would have said no, well, I mean, not on here.
Yeah.
She would have said iPhone. Would you have given her electronics?
Maybe, yeah.
Toys, clothes, electronics, gift cards, jewelry. All generic answers.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm happy
Yeah.
for Zach.
It's 50-50.
it's great
We're
for
in the
Zach.
giving mood
Yes, that's right.
Great for Zach.
for getting the worst round in Fast Money history on the show. We're handing out dubs.
Wow.
Other questions
Just wow.
for you. Name a character from the nativity scene.
Joseph, Mary,
Yeah, Mary, second, third.
Jesus,
Jesus, 40 points.
3 kings.
Wise men.
Yeah.
Shepherd.
There we go.
Shepherd.
There we go.
Name a type of Christmas
Little
cookie. That
animal.
would have been good.
Oh, gingerbread.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Snickerdoodle.
Snickerdoodle 3.
What about like peppermint? No.
No.
Oh.
What about the delicious peppermint bark that Mrs. Klug made
yeah.
for us?
Is that a cookie?
No, it's a bark.
It's a bark.
But I mean,
It's like more of a it's more of like a candy.
yeah, I guess it's a chocolate.
not a
It's
cookie.
more.
It's a
It's almost more in the
confectionery.
fudge family, almost kind of, right?
Yeah.
Because it's got a chocolate base.
Yeah.
I would consider it more like a candy bar.
What are
than
the
a
other holiday cookies?
sugar shortbread thumbprints? I didn't
Oh.
know thumbprints were specific to Christmas.
And sugar and
They're
shortbread. Like
not.
Name
Yeah,
a
they're
Christmas
not.
color. Red, green,
Red,
gold, silver, and
green.
white.
Yeah. Okay.
Symbol associated with Christmas.
cross.
Santa
Santa.
winner. Marcelo
cross?
Balboa up next.
No, I don't know.
Welcome back, everybody. Fourth and final hour of our Thursday get-together today. Annie and Elsten here with you on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We roll till 2. Gwen and Chris will check in then. They'll go to 4:30. We will have Thursday night football this evening between the Broncos and the Chargers coming up at about 5:15. Well, we talked about it during the 12 o'clock Sports Fix. MLS has released their season schedules today, which means for the first time here in San Diego, we have a schedule. We have games. We have a list of opponents. We've got a schedule. Joining us right now on the 97.3 The Fan hotline to talk about it and to be thrown into another one of our Ersatz MLS 101 segments is a man whose name should be familiar to anybody who is a soccer fan and an American soccer fan, a man who is a member of the National Soccer Hall of Fame, who also went to San Diego State for not for nothing. A guy who's got some San Diego ties. The great Marcelo Balboa, Apple TV Plus MLS analyst, joining us now here on Annie and Elsten. Marcelo, Craig, and Annie here with you. It's a real pleasure to welcome you on the show. Thanks for some time today.
Hello.
It's great to have you, man. First things first, what's it been like doing the Apple thing and just how it's all come together 2 years now, MLS on the Apple platform? What's your thoughts on it?
It's been awesome. Listen, we are traveling every weekend doing games from the stadium, and no other way to do a game. You know what I mean? When you're broadcasting it, Apple has made a huge commitment to MLS to be able to broadcast all the games. And I think when you look at it, how much it's gotten around the world. I mean, I've got friends in Argentina and Uruguay. My buddy George, who does play-by-play, has his family and friends in Mexico watching. So it's been pretty cool, man.
Marcelo, we are gearing up for SDFC to make their debut next year. And first of all, just how excited are you for San Diego to get an MLS team? And what are you looking for in the inaugural San Diego FC season?
Listen, super excited because I played for the San Diego Nomads. Mm-hmm. I went to San Diego State. So super excited to have a team in California, make it the fourth team in California. And expectations, you know what? I think it's like anything else. Expectations are always high after what St. Louis did the first year when they came into the league and other teams have come in. So expectations are high when you got a Chucky Lozano. You just got a Godoy, who they just signed. So I think that when you start looking at what they're building in San Diego, your expectations should be high.
And well, that's interesting that you bring that up, Marcel. What is it about the way that an expansion team is able to build their roster in this league compared to other American professional sports leagues that allows an expansion team to jump in and be pretty successful off the bat? I mean, you mentioned St. Louis City. I mean, LAFC obviously came in and was incredibly successful. So how does that happen?
I think it's simple. The designated players are an important part. If you go back to what LAFC did, LAFC, their first contract was Carlos Vela.
Right.
You know, your first contract is Chucky Lozano. So you see what I'm saying? You're building off that platform. They have foreign spots open that they can still use with allocation money. They designated players are still out there, players that they've picked up in the draft, players they're going to pick up in trades over the next month or two before preseason starts. So you have an ability to shape a team the way you want it and players that fit under your profile that are out there that you can go out and buy and get and trade for. So I think that's what makes it a little different than most leagues.
Marcelo Balboa, Apple TV Plus MLS analyst, former San Diego State Aztec for life. He is joining us here on Annie and Elsten to go over the schedule. All right, the thing that as soon as we saw it, I'm sure you would understand, Marcelo, the first thing we did when we saw this schedule is we went through it. Where's Miami? Where's Miami? Where's Miami? and the answer is they're not on there. So a little bummed about that one.
You know what? I think everybody looks on that when the schedule comes out, everybody's looking for that big hit, the Messi game. But listen, you got your hands full as it is between LA Galaxy, LAFC, between the San Jose, Seattle, Portland. So it's a great schedule, and I know everybody wants Messi, but unfortunately he can only play so many games with qualifiers and World Cup of Clubs. But God, I am super excited to see what what and how they compete against the reigning champions LA Galaxy too.
Yeah, do you anticipate a rivalry there? And I mean, does that kind of have to happen organically? Does it have to be between LAFC or Galaxy, or how do you kind of see that going down?
That's a good one because, rivalries, when you talk about rivalries, you talk about New York City and the Red Bulls. They're both in New York. So take your pick. You want LA, you want LAFC, you want San Jose, I would think the natural one, because you've already seen LAFC, LA Galaxy. So I think you have to let it happen organically, especially because of the three teams, and go from there. But again, every game could be a rivalry game in California. You got three rivalry games if you want to look at it with San Jose and LA and the LA Galaxy. So it should be a good schedule.
Marcelo, you were a 96er. You were one of the original players in the first season of MLS. I have some buddies who were first season players in MLS in 1996. Paul Wright, Sean Bowers, guys who played in Kansas City at that time. Now here it is. We're going into the 2025 season. What would you say in terms of the arc of growth of Major League Soccer over the course of the decades?
Listen, you can't compare to what we were going through in 96. We were playing in football stadiums. We were playing in Pasadena. We were playing at the Horseshoe against Columbus Crew. You name it, we were playing at Gillette Stadium. The growth has been the fact that you have designated players. David Beckham changing, when he came to this league, changing the rules of this designated player. It's opened up huge opportunities for teams to spend money. And that's really, look what LA Galaxy, look what other teams have done. To win a championship, you've got to go out and invest money in your team. And now you've got soccer-specific stadium, or we'll say entertainment-specific stadiums, because there's so much going on. So the growth of budget has gone up. The fan base is tremendous in MLS and all these teams. So you've seen it grow from 96 little by little. And sure, we've had hiccup years. But now you bring in a guy like Messi, and it's taken it to a different level. Now it's a global market. It's a global Apple TV that everybody all over the world wants to see Messi play. So the growth has just been incredible. And the good thing is, when you have growth, you got to make sure the foundation is solid. And I think when we started in 96, we left a pretty good base.
Marcelo, as we continue to learn more about MLS, myself included here, we saw, the Leagues Cup from July 28th to August 31st, and SDFC is still playing games during that time. But can you explain a little bit what happens during that month?
It's interesting because there's a lot of, don't forget the U.S. Open Cup. You've got other opportunities. So what'll happen is you'll play a league game on a Saturday or Sunday. Then you'll play a League Cup game on Wednesday, be it wherever you may have to go. And then so every Saturday will be a league game, an MLS league game. And on Wednesdays throughout that month and other days, depending on what they designate, will be the Leagues Cup. And those are the games that are against the Mexican teams that are, it depends on what group you get put in, but that's the Leagues Cup. That's basically an interconference tournament between the league for a midway point. Well, it's a tournament between Liga MX and MLS that you'll see played every Wednesday night.
Okay, and that should be a lot of fun down here in a border town like San Diego. That should get people fired up, especially if SDFC and Cholos ever wind up.
There you go.
Right, being in the same group.
There you go.
Marcelo, before we let you go, I have a very kind of specific, maybe arcane historical question for you. But
all right.
I've worked for the better part of 15 years for the modern San Diego Soccer's organization. And during COVID years, I really got into some historical projects and a lot of historical research. So I happen to know that you were the number one pick in 1990 in the MISL draft, that you visited San Diego, and that you almost were a Soccer. In fact, you can find some of your bios that list San Diego Soccer's on there very briefly, but obviously indoor didn't take, or outdoor opportunities exceeded. But can you tell me about your dalliance with what at that time, as you know, at that time, that was the major professional men's soccer league in the United States?
Yeah. Well, I was the number one pick. I talked to the Newmans. I talked to Kevin Crowe. I was playing at San Diego State. I was playing for the Nomads. And we all agreed, because in 90 was the year that the World Cup was playing in Italy. I made the U.S. national team. and I decided to focus on outdoor soccer because the World Cup was around the corner instead of playing indoor. But I was tempted. If the World Cup wouldn't have been that year, I would have been a soccer because my buddy Fernando Clavijo was there.
Yes.
Kevin Crowe was a good friend of mine, and I probably would have been a soccer. But the World Cup was less than a year away, and I chose to play outdoor soccer so I would be prepared for the World Cup. But yes, I was a soccer for a minute because I was drafted. So yeah.
Nice.
It seems like it was a good choice in the end, Marcelo. I think you probably did the right thing, you know.
Sometimes you get lucky with a little decision you make here and there.
And then
But
end
it
up
was
in the Hall
awesome.
of
It was
Fame.
an honor.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll go with that. Too. So.
Well, listen, Marcelo, this is obviously a robust market in terms of soccer fans, but for MLS, this is a new market. So we've been spending all year here on our particular program doing periodic interviews, just trying to kind of seed the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start to water it and let it grow, let the fandom grow. But as we move into 2025, we really look forward to catching up with you more often and getting the feel for what's going on around MLS. And thank you so much for spending some minutes with us here today.
Anytime you guys need anything, I'm there. And if not, hopefully with Apple, we'll see you there. You'll see me in the gift shop buying my San Diego shirt already. So that'll be me.
Perfect.
That's a plan. Happy holidays, too.
Thank you. You too.
There goes the great Marcelo Balboa in the United States Soccer Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
1994 World Cup.
Hey, how cool, too. San Diego State.
Yeah.
And, has a Soccer's Association there, a little bit of a reference there. And so to see an MLS team come to San Diego, pretty cool.
Yeah. When I was doing that research, there's all these different sites and stuff like the MISL, MSL, these leagues that happened decades ago when there was no internet, right? When really many of those historical archives have just been destroyed.
Yeah.
Like they just disappeared. So I was doing all this research online and I found one of these kind of old websites that kept all these old rosters, and I saw Marcelo Balboa on the Soccers, and I got really excited. I'm like, I had no idea that Marcelo Balboa, one of these great players, when I was growing up, I knew Marcelo Balboa, one of our rocks in the back defensively for United States. I'm like, he was a soccer? Holy cow. I didn't. No, he wasn't. But he almost was.
For a minute.
He was.
That's like when someone commits somewhere, right? And then they...
Yeah, like how Eli Manning was a Charger.
Yeah, for a minute.
Yeah, that's pretty much how Marcelo Balboa was a soccer.
He definitely made a very good choice on his end.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, made sense.
Some good opportunities coming his way.
Yeah, but great stuff there from Marcelo Balboa.
That's a great name, Marcelo Balboa.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good name.
Yeah, they named a park after him. Not really.
And a stadium.
And Rocky Balboa?
And a lot of different things.
I just thought I'd just drop that in there, see if it worked. I feel like
You mean it's not after the Explorer Balboa? It's not.
No.
It's
Marcelo all the way.
Oh,
man.
I didn't realize that.
It's
Named it after him before he was alive.
This is a soccer town, man.
True.
That's how much of a soccer
Oh,
town
and
it
now
is.
I just got it. Balboa Park?
Yes.
That's what you're saying? Oh, my
Draws the
God.
foul.
Unreal, Annie.
I went
Annie's
all the way to
fourth foul.
Dora the Explorer, and then I went to Rocky before I got back to Balboa Park.
Dora the Explorer.
Well, you said something about exploring. Explorer.
Yeah, it was Balboa the Explorer back in the day.
Oh, and it's
What
a little
it's named
different.
after. That's what all the Balboa stuff is named after.
That was a long fuse joke grenade right there.
I know.
But when the light bulb goes off, it goes
Vasco
off.
Nunez
all right?
de Balboa.
Oh,
That is what
man.
everything is actually named after.
This is just Thursday. Wait till
Dora the
tomorrow.
Just wait till
Wait
tomorrow.
till tomorrow. I did see something come through.
Yes, what?
No, not Padres related, but more. Hey, the prices are so high. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah, wait, hang on. I saw that
said
too.
Robert
Somebody
Murray.
signed for something stupid.
Free agent pitcher Mike Soroka and the Washington Nationals are in agreement on a 1-year, $9 million contract. According to those familiar with the deal, Soroka will be a starter with the Nats. That's from Robert Murray.
Hey, you know what his record was last year? 0-10.
He got $9 million.
$9 million.
0-10. Yes, for the White Sox, but still. $9 million?
What was his ERA?
4.74. His whip was 1.4. He struck out a whopping 84 batters all year.
$9 million.
Yeah. It's good work if you can get it.
I don't know.
And
I don't know.
they're saying he'll be a starter.
How much is Martin Perez going to get?
I know.
12,
Yes, probably.
14, maybe.
And that is a pitcher that we were like, that's a throw-in in the whatever, like a flyer
It
at the
really
trade deadline,
was.
and
It was.
And again, he ended up being, I think, I feel very, very good for the Padres, and I was hoping that the Padres would be able to bring him back, but I don't think so.
Griffin Canning and Mike Soroka. Not exactly draping ourselves in pitching glory here. No. And they've combined to make $14 million today.
You got to live in the draft.
Yeah, yes.
At this point, if you want to say we've already spent the money, you better have something coming up the pipeline here.
Something up your sleeves.
That's right.
Pants,
both
socks,
sleeves, pants, socks,
maybe even a hat.
hat.
When we come back,
I don't really see AJ wear hats too many times.
That's true.
when we come back on Annie and Elsten,
Not a big hat guy.
No.
when public relations just goes wrong. Just goes wrong. The Sammy Sosa story today as we come back. And we go till 2, and then Gwen and Chris after that, right here on The Fan. get the recognition that our stats deserve. What's that about? There were times I did whatever I could to recover from injuries in an effort to keep my strength up to perform over 162 games. I never broke any laws, but in hindsight, I made mistakes, and I apologize. We accomplished great things as a team, and I worked extremely hard in the batting cage to become a great hitter. Cubs fans are the best in the world, and I hope that fans, the Cubs, and I can all come together again and move forward. We can't change the past, but the future is bright. In my heart, I have always been a Cub, and I can't wait to see Cubs fans again. Sincerely, Sammy Sosa.
Sounds like a child's book.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't very good.
It's childish.
My understanding from the very little that I've read since this came out while we were on the air, but I have seen it's that for him to participate at the upcoming any events with the Cubs, Fan Fest or any kind of alumni events or whatever, they, as in the Cubs front office, required a written apology, some kind of written public apology for him to rejoin the team in a public capacity. I think that's pretty stupid too. I mean, I think like if you're requiring a guy who, by the way, like you looked the other way while all this was happening with him and you cashed those checks, that team was huge. I mean, it was a time in your life where you just kind of let the money roll in. You're standing on a high horse that I also think is stupid, So like, I don't think the Cubs need to stand on that high horse.
So Sammy was brought in front of Congress, right? Him, McGuire, Palmeiro, right? He was Clemens, Pettit. He was one of the guys who was brought in front of Congress. Mm-hmm. Sammy Sosa. What ruins, and again, I'm looking at this both from a consumer and a fan, a member of the media, and also somebody who's worked in media relations, public relations, team public relations. Here's a little tip. Be honest. Say what you mean and own it. And when you do that, you will be stunned. You will be stunned at two things. You will be stunned at how much less negative reaction you get than you had anticipated. And you will be stunned at how quickly people are ready to go ahead and move on and accept that. And in fact, give you credit for not being a lying, sniveling, 21st century, mealy-mouthed, half say, half don't say. But this is where we now live. This is the world we occupy right now, where corporations and these media companies, global consulting research, craft this BS statement. If I'm talking to Sammy Sosa and I read this statement, I'm going to then ask the question, what were the mistakes you made? Well, I made some mistakes. Do you mean that you took performance-enhancing drugs, such as steroids? Well, I made some mistakes. Do you mean you did when you hit 66 home runs? Well, I made some mistakes, and I apologize. You didn't, and here's the other thing. Apologizing with a lie is worse than apologizing with the truth or never apologizing at all. Sammy, you did not take steroids to recover from injuries in an effort to keep your strength up to perform over 162 games. That is nonsense. You took steroids to get stronger, to hit homers. And you did. Own it. Say it. Find the respect. The respect will come flowing to you like the river to the sea. If you say what you mean, if you actually just say the truth, if you say, yes, I did it. I cheated. And yes, many other people cheated too. In fact, over half the league did. And you know what? That's part of the reason why I needed to. I looked around and I saw that all of my fellow superstars were getting bigger and stronger, and I knew if I didn't keep pace, I couldn't help the Cubs win games. And I did it to help the Cubs win games. Now, that's an honest, true statement. I took the performance-enhancing drugs. I knew exactly what I was doing. I did it because I wanted to win. I did it because I wanted to hit homers. I did it because I wanted my club to succeed. Everyone was doing it. That's what was going on. That was the nature of the game at that time. And you know what? That's all true. He had teammates who took steroids. He had people across in the other dugout who took steroids. And every single town he went to in the late 90s and early 2000s, every team had multiple players who were taking steroids. So why do we have to, 28 years later, pretend like what happened didn't happen in these bizarrely couched one sentence at a time statements?
But then I want the media and the team personnel and the guys in the clubhouse and the owners and everybody else to come out to the stage, and because they all knew. Maybe I'll take the media out. I'm sorry, media. Made you take an L there. But like within the team, I mean, everyone knew what was going on, so like take responsibility then for your part in it too, while you were capitalizing on what it was producing for you inside your ballpark day in and day out. I think it's more stupid that like this has to happen publicly. The Cubs put out a statement saying, "We appreciate Sammy releasing his statement and for reaching out. No one played harder or wanted to win more. Nobody's perfect, but we never doubted his passion for the game and the Cubs." It is an understatement to say that Sammy is a fan favorite. We plan on inviting him to the 2025 Cubs convention. That's like their fan fest. And while it is short notice, we hope that he can attend. We are all ready to move forward together. Okay. Like, I'm more like, did this really have to happen publicly and on social media? Because it's just kind of, to me, lame on the Cubs too. I don't know.
Agree,
it's
actually,
weird.
Annie. I agree.
Yeah.
But I mean, we want you to apologize, but you don't have to actually say anything because none of us actually want to address what happened.
Right.
This is so...
Admit what you can't deny what you can't admit.
I'm sorry. This is so American. This is just someone harmed someone else, but we can't talk about it. We can't actually address the thing. We have to always walk around the edge. We always have to skirt the bushes around the story. And you don't look me in the eye. Don't ask me a real question. Let's not have a real conversation. No, let's have a released statement. And now whenever anyone asks him a question, I'd like to refer back to my statement. I'd like to refer back to my statement. I'd like to move on. Like, come on. This is a useless dance. If you just say the honest truth, you might be. I feel like I'm a dad talking to a kid, but
he might come out with the truth. I mean, you never know, right? Like sometimes you take these kinds of steps, and then you end up doing some documentary down the line or some exclusive story where you get to maybe have some more context around it versus like a statement, So
yeah.
Maybe
or does he need to get paid for an interview where he says it so we can only tell the truth if we get compensated?
I think that is a point that is well taken about he'll probably be asked about stuff going forward, and he has to kind of, I guess, realize that as he goes into any situation. But
this isn't the first time this has happened.
Right.
You remember Jason Giambi? When Giambi got pinched,
Yes.
He did this exact same thing. He goes, "Well, I made mistakes." Oh, and everyone's like, "Jason Giambi apologized." No, he never said. He never said the thing. And when people in New York asked him the question, he just kept coming back to, "I made mistakes. I made mistakes. I made mistakes." Like, just say the thing. What are you afraid of? That you're not going to make the Hall of Fame? Spoiler alert, you're never going to make the Hall of Fame. But you know what? The first guy who actually comes clean is going to have the best chance of anybody. Because when you tell the truth, you engender trust. When you tell the truth, you're speaking from a place of authenticity. And authenticity is still to be rewarded in human society. Tell me the people that you speak to that you know are authentic and how much more meaningful those relationships are than people who side-eye you, who look down at the floor when they're talking to you, who write a 14-paragraph email that's all filled with buzzwords and flower language as opposed to just saying what you mean.
If he denied it in front of Congress, I don't think he can come out and be like, "I lied." I lied, and when I was under oath,
You think the guys from '98 are going to come back and bring him back in front? I don't think so.
I guess. I mean, I see your point. I'm more happy that they can put this behind them maybe and move forward, and he can be part of like Cubs events and things like that. I do think like fans would enjoy seeing him, and fans would like being, I think, I don't know. I think, how many years is this now? 20 years? Like
the 27?
Right. So maybe, by the time you kind of are back in part of the fold again, there's probably some excitement and nostalgia and probably some hard feelings too along the way for sure. But, I think that there should be some second chances here.
Sammy Sosa is a legend in Chicago. Barry Bonds is a legend in San Francisco. Jason Giambi was a legend in Oakland and in New York. Ken Caminiti is a legend in San Diego. And they all took steroids. Okay? They all took steroids. Many of the best players that you grew up watching utilized performance-enhancing drugs to increase their ability not only to recover, but to perform.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that really sticks
Some
me.
still do.
Like now is the whole, oh, well, I did it for injury. I did it. Like we're supposed to be like, okay, cool. Cool. No, you are telling entirely the truth. You never touched steroids until you were on the injured list, and then you only used it to get better. BS. You used it to enhance your performance. And that's why you won 7 MVPs or 7 Cy Youngs or set a National League home run record or set a Major League home run record. You enhanced your performance, and that's what happened. We all enjoyed watching it. We bought tickets. We watched it on television. And people just let it go, let it go. Don't talk, don't say. And now we're doing the same damn thing. People need to confront their issues in society. Look at it directly. Don't dance around it, tiptoe. And then we don't acknowledge the real truth that we all shared together. And when we're not acknowledging our shared truth, then we're living in different realities. And I can't stand that. So, bottom line, Sammy's going to do whatever the public relations firm says, you know? So, Aurora Global Consulting, consider consulting your clients to be honest. And if there is, specific to your point, something where they say, if you actually say this, you will be arrested. Okay, I accept that part. Is Sammy Sosa going to get arrested for saying he did steroids?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't even think he necessarily lives here. But point being, let's just, instead of dancing around that thing at Christmas with your relative that you see once a year and you don't say the thing that you both know, and so you dance and you dance. Why not just go ahead and pop that bubble this year and talk honestly and find that connection. Once again, find that connection that you're avoiding because everyone does this out of fear. Like, I'm afraid what someone's going to say. I'm afraid what someone's going to think. We're going to think that thing anyways when you're lying. Tell the truth. You'll be shocked how many Americans are ready to forgive and move on. Forgive and move on. Okay, soapbox done. 1:37. Let's take our last break. And then when we come back, we're going to open up the phones. It's time for Ask Us Anything. Let's do it. 833-288-0973 is the number. Bingo. It's open now. 833-288-0973. Give us a call. You have 14 minutes to call the show. And if you do in the next 14 minutes, we will put you on hold. We'll put you on the air. We will take your call. All we ask is that you have a question ready to ask the program. Annie and Elsten wrapping things up right after this on The Fan. All right, final segment of the day. Not of the week, nor the year. Got a whole full show for you tomorrow, including I'm right in saying Mikey Vadas is coming on tomorrow, right?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
SDFC's head coach, Mikey Vadas. The expansion, not the expansion draft. The
different draft.
super draft is tomorrow.
Draft.
The college draft. So they'll have made their college selections by that time tomorrow, so we'll be able to find out a little bit about that. They actually made a couple more signings today since the last time we talked about San Diego FC. So within the hour, they have picked up a couple of players in the re-entry draft. So, I mean, come on. There's so many different things here.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
deeply,
busy.
Yeah, I'm deeply confused. But there's a way to. I would think it was free agency, but it's something called the re-entry draft, where you pick someone and then you have to make them an offer. According to our dear friend Tony on San Diego Punto Football, it says San Diego FC are required to make a genuine offer to the player within 7 days of their selection in Stage 2 of the 2004, which is today, re-entry draft. They've picked Yaboa and Franco Negri. Yaboa, a 27-year-old Ghanaian winger who was part of the MLS Cup champion Columbus Crew in 2023 and is a graduate of Right to Dream.
Very nice.
So they're scooping the Right to Dreamers out there. Which makes a lot of sense, right? Set the culture for the academy, have those guys there with the 12-year-olds.
Feeding right in. Yes, absolutely.
Hey, I was you 15 years ago. You were me, It's a great idea. It's a great idea. So shout out to them, and we'll chat some SDFC tomorrow in the final hour of the program. We'll do our last Best of Padres tomorrow. So you know what we're leading up to? The triple play.
Yeah.
We're leading up to the triple play.
I'll look forward to hearing that call again.
Maybe Jesse's greatest call ever.
I would think that would go at least in your top 5, if not number 1.
Yeah, it's got to be number 1.
Yeah. Although if the Padres play in the World Series and or win the World Series, Jesse gets to be there on that call.
That'll
Jesse
be number
and Tony,
1.
yeah.
That'll be number 1.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for now,
fine, yes.
for now, I think we'll go with the triple play. And for now, we'll go to the bumper. Phone line's still open. You have 5 more minutes to call the show. You can call anytime in the next 5 minutes, and we'll put you on the air. 833-288-0973 is our phone number. 833-288-0973. Mike knew the number in Claremont, and he called up. Hi, Mike. You're on with Annie and Elsten. Ask us anything.
Hi, you all. Okay. Speaking of the Padres, when they were minor league in the PCL, what what farm team were they of a major league team?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Do you know? That was a long time ago, man. I was born in 72. They were in the minor leagues in like the 60s, in the 50s. Eastgate Park.
You got it. Yeah.
Right? I just know that part of the history. Do you know what team were they affiliate of?
I do. The Cleveland Indians.
Really?
Oh.
Really?
Does the name Rocky Colavito mean anything to you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I back when I was a teenager, speaking of the 50s, I had a team picture of the Padres, and Rocky Colavito was right smack dab in the middle of that picture, and he went on to be with the Cleveland Indians, and I'm sure the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure he's probably in the Hall of Fame. I don't know for sure, but.
Awesome, Mike. Great memories, man. Appreciate you. Have a great holiday. Thanks for calling in.
PCL Padres are a member of the Red Sox in 36, the Indians from 49 to 51, and then 57 to 59, the White Sox 1960 to 61, the Reds 62 to 65, and the Phillies 66 to 68.
They were part of a lot of different clubs.
Jeez.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a lot for just over a 30-year span.
Village Bicycle, giving everyone a ride.
Yeah. Whoa.
What?
Huh? Oh, God.
He draws the foul.
Please foul that.
Major foul.
Good Lord.
That's a T.
That's a line from Austin Powers.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to forget
What's the
DJ
context
asking
there?
that question. He asked it again
little
today.
different.
DJ asked who was my favorite Padres interview. I think it was something.
It was. Yeah, who was your favorite?
DJ, I
Padres
cannot pick a
interview?
favorite. I love them all for different reasons. I would say memorable would be Franmil Reyes, who sang, of course, on camera his song, Whitney Houston.
Yeah. Imagine having to interview him after that.
Yeah.
That was kind of rough.
And then, Braden had to interview him after
I had to
that.
interview him after that whole thing. I was just sitting there waiting. Oh, cool. Are you going to sing the song again? No? All right.
Will you sing
we'll
the
move
song
on.
again, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the background of Annie's interview, just like, just waiting.
And also Seth Lugo had a very memorable interview with he was just a quirky guy who had all kinds of different interests and hobbies. But honestly, I love all the interviews with players. They're all cool for different reasons.
I got to interview Fernando and Merrill this year, which was kind of fun.
That's awesome.
sick.
Merrill's a great one. Fernando's a great one. Yeah.
Here's Andrew in San Diego. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for calling in. You're on with Andy and Elsten. Ask us anything.
Guys, I know Braden mentioned this. I don't know if we got into depth about it, but the holiday happy hour, did you guys all go? Or
Braden went.
I went.
Represented the show, yes.
Had a great time. It's always a
Okay,
great time
so
up there.
who was all there, and who'd you get to talk to, and
Spill
what's
the
it all
tea.
about anyway?
Yeah, we need an update.
That's right. AJ Preller was there.
AJ
Talked to him for like 35 seconds. Didn't want to bother him too much. Bud Black was there. Who else? Rick Schloss, who helps us out with the PR stuff for the Holiday Bowl. A lot of the old guard media and radio guys. Ted Leitner was there. Bernie Wilson was there. Who else was there? That was like a
dignitary.
Yeah, it's always random. Like who goes? Like Donnie Edwards was there a couple of years ago. Some guys. Rick Sutcliffe was there.
Really?
Yeah, he
That's
was. Rick
cool,
Sutcliffe
yeah.
was there. He gave a toast to Barry Axelrod.
Okay,
that
all
was
right.
like the big thing. It was like the first year because of his passing, he hadn't been at the holiday happy hour, so that was cool. Scott Miller
Nice.
was there. Got to talk to Scotty, which is cool. Just a lot of the guys that we have on as guests too. It's the local San Diego media in town, so always a good time.
Awesome. Here's Andrew in San Diego. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for calling in. Ask us anything.
Me again, fellas and
No,
fellas.
same
Wait.
guy.
Whoa.
Was it the same guy?
Same guy.
Where was the other guy?
Where's the other guy? Well, there's two of them on there, I guess. I think the other guy hung up.
Do we have
well,
anyone
forget
else?
it. No, we
Wait,
got
we
no
have
one
voice.
else.
Do we have any voice messages?
We do have a voice message, right?
You couldn't hear what he was saying.
Okay. Wow.
He was talking,
I need you guys to
and then he like
enunciate.
leaves the room, and you just hear him talking in a different room. That's
Wait,
what it
maybe
sounds
he butt
like.
called.
Do you think
Did
it-
he
yeah,
butt
I was
No,
call?
just gonna say.
he said
Oh.
he was leaving a voice message, but it was almost like he had it on speakers, just walk around the house. That's what it sounded like.
We need you guys. No, we need you guys to speak into the mic
Just
and
just
hold the phone by your mouth.
right here.
Guys,
Yeah.
lock
It'll
in.
do.
Or,
Yeah.
or be on your earbuds. That would work too.
Just lock in.
As James Franklin would say, lock the F in.
Yeah.
SMU,
You know what you're doing.
SMU. That's what they're focused on Saturday.
If you called right now, I'd take one more call.
I thought
833-288-0973.
I thought I could get Cassavell there off air when we were talking to him because he's a big Penn State guy. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, if they go to the Fiat, I was like, you locked in? Of course I'm locked in. Focused on SMU. And then he quotes James Franklin, SMU. And I go, well, if they win, they got to go to the Fiesta Bowl since you went to the Big Ten Championship. Yeah, but wait a minute. No, I'm focused. SMU. Focus on SMU. SMU.
Got to pick in that
College
game?
football's great.
Got to pick in that game?
I got Penn State. I'll never pick SMU in anything.
I got SMU.
Look at that, Don and Escondido. I said I'd take one more call. There's Don. Hi, Don. Ask us anything.
Hey, what's your favorite Philly game?
Oh, boy. Match game for sure.
I like fast money. Although I'm starting
partial
to like
Anybody Knows.
I'm starting to like Anybody Knows, and our contestants on Match Game Mind the Gap have been really good.
Yeah, our
That
last
makes
two
it-
Mind the Gappers have been really good.
That makes that game fun. The difficult part with that one is like if you go through a spell of difficult questions, it sucks.
And it just
drags
seems like
on.
no one's ever going
Right,
to get a
yeah,
point.
exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
But
they've
that's
been
what
pretty
it's
good
about.
lately.
They have been pretty
Yeah.
good. I'm gonna go with Fast Money. It's the most fun.
That's fair. I
We get
just
some
love
pretty-
having everybody together, getting everyone in,
Yes. We
having the
get to-
panel,
God blesses everyone. Thanks, Tiny
On
Tim.
the right, Greg, Scraby, Adam,
right?
they get to join in.
Speaking of Mind the Gap champions, here's Dexter in Spring Valley. Hi, Dexter. Turn down your radio.
Hey, guys.
Anything.
Yep. So, I was thinking.
Me
if
too.
you guys could have any vehicle, because this is all from Craig's conversation earlier this week.
Yeah.
Any vehicle.
Any vehicle.
Right?
Jeez.
Any. What would you guys pick? And it could be real, like an actual car, or it could be a fictional vehicle.
Oh.
You know, like.
Give me the
like Kit from
DeLorean.
Knight
Give me
Rider.
give me the time machine DeLorean.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I want.
I think that's fair.
I'll take that. If not, if it has to be real, I'll take a Camaro ZL1. Although I do like the Bronco. The Bronco's tight.
What about Wonder Woman's invisible plane?
That's not a. Well, it's not
It's a vehicle.
It's a
I mean,
vehicle.
okay, it's fine. It's a car.
If you want to.
I think it would be
It's
pretty
like
cool.
a like a
to fly
Porsche
around.
or something, like a
Just a
like
nice
a really
Porsche.
cool color. Yeah, probably like a forest green or something.
How about an old
Shiny.
school like Aston Martin or something?
Yeah,
like
there you
some
go.
old-
That's cool.
Some old European roadster.
Mm.
That'd be pretty
Yeah.
sick.
I'd
I
like
like
a
the new
steed.
Bronco. A steed. Can we not call it cars?
A faithful steed. Mazda Miata used to be. When I was a kid, I always thought
Oh,
a
yeah.
Mazda Miata was cute, but too small now. You know,
Yeah.
like that's something you need to be single to have a 2-seater car.
This would
like
just
that.
be the Joyrider. Like this would just be like.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be your everyday car.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
This is just.
I'll take the DeLorean.
That is the objectively correct answer, my friend.
That's right.
This is not the car you're going to Costco with.
Great question, Dexter.
Maybe I
I
want to
don't
go
know,
to an
maybe
older
fine.
Costco.
Yeah,
Maybe I can go
fine.
back in time to Costco when there's not a line.
Just when it's Sam's Club.
Yeah. Or just earlier in the day.
Never a bad idea.
I can't get there now, but you know what? Costco at 9 a.m. would have been great.
Exactly.
88 miles an hour on Scripps Pride Parkway.
We'll be back tomorrow at 10, and we'll do it all again. For Annie and Braden, I'm Craig. See ya.
Bye.